You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others crawl, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday.
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Mashamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake, na Afrika itakwisha.
Padani agosho ngai no mwega na endesho de.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani ngwe.
So the sixth is very simply this, that we as Safina have been very clear about our budget. Our targets are very clear. We are saying we will never borrow again, and we are not going to borrow from the domestic market because we will not need to. We are going to very clearly not pay this odious debt that you can now see the Ruto regime is claiming to be illegal. We will not pay it. Hiyo hatutalipa. In the year 2027-2028 financial year, it is going to be 2.8 trillion in debt payment. We will not pay it. And because we won't pay it, it means our taxes will be cash rich by 2.8 trillion. When you're cash rich at 2.8 trillion, there's so much you can do for Kenyans. The first thing we are going to do is ensure that primary school, high school, and TVET, the capitations to the standard of living of that year shall be paid. We have estimated that to be just under 400 billion shillings. We shall pay it from that money we are saving from paying debt. So no parent shall take from their pocket money towards primary school, high school, or any TVET program. We shall talk about university.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Udu Tegero, and this is Political Headache coming to you at 7:30 from the city of glasses. Today, I've got beautiful people here, but let's put everything in order. In 18 months, Kenyans vote for a president again, okay? And the opposition that wants to replace Ruto still has not agreed on a single candidate. Maybe they have. But that is what we want to be asking them tonight. The United Opposition has 6 big names, 6 or more. We have Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i is there, Karua is there, Wamalwa is there. I don't know whether Muturi is also there. All of them want to be the president of this country. They set up a committee to pick one flag bearer. That committee has not delivered a formula, and no candidate has been named. The deadlines, by the way, keep slipping. Kalonzo recently launched his own platform. And it was interesting, Angela Boothia and Mr. Jeff, that there was nobody there coming from the other parties. I didn't see Boothia. I don't know whether you were there. I don't think so. Karua says he will not be anyone's running mate ever again. And once the candidate chosen through opinion polls, not a boardroom deal. Matiang'i, by the way, agrees with her. And Matiang'i is coming from the Jubilee Party. Gachagua and Kalonzo prefer consensus. Okay, so they are stuck on both the method and the timing. Then there is Gachagua himself. He says he can deliver 10 million votes. The High Court, by the way, Mr. Jeff, has upheld his impeachment. Okay? But he insists he's still eligible and will be on the ballot. That question, whether he can legally run, is now headed to the appeals. Okay? And beyond the personalities, there is the substance. What does Gachagwa's party, DCP, actually want to change? I don't know whether Mbuthia is the one who's going to answer that question or Jeff is the one who's going to answer that question. What does the opposition stand for beyond removing Mr. Ruto? Now, the latest polls, people on the internet, put Kalonzo ahead of the pack, but no one near a majority. And a new name, Edwin Sifuna, is already polling above Gachagua. Okay, that tells you that the field is still wide open and the public is not settled on anyone. Outside the coalition, Wanjigi, Maraga, and possibly Sifuna are positioning on their own, and a large part of the youth vote is not convinced by any of these old leaders. Tonight we go through all of this. With Odhiambo is still on his way coming, but I have the good people here. So we are going to be talking about the candidate question, the court case, the DCP agenda, and what this opposition actually plans to do before 2027. My two guests, Jeff Wesley, a policy analyst and lawyer who understands the legal side of this, is going to be helping me, including what the court ruling on Gachagua actually means. And Angel Mbuthia, National Youth Chairperson of Jubilee Party, who speaks to where the youth and her party stand in all of this. Okay, so this is what is going on now. It is the first time that I'm hosting these two beautiful people.
Thank you.
I want to give you an opportunity to tell me what you actually think is going on with the country. Where are we headed as a country? Let me start with the lady first.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be on the show.
Thank you very much.
I was hoping you could add that I'm also the incoming woman rep, Kiambu County.
Oh, okay. I'm going to ask you that.
All right.
I'm going to ask you that.
I should hold my horses.
Yes, I'm going to basically ask you that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the country's mood is very tensed.
Okay.
Especially the young people are feeling very anxious. They are disturbed and they are very vulnerable. We are at a state where if you're now listening to us and you're driving home, you risk your life and your security if you have not locked your car doors and you're driving home. We are seeing situations where citizens are stopped midway in traffic and getting robbed, in church, a place of prayer. And that happens. So there's a lot of anxiety in the country, and the tensions in insecurity and not knowing where exactly we are headed. Are we saying one term or are we saying no more term? Where exactly are we? And I think that the church now feels that this is a decision that they were part of making, and this is a bed that they helped making in 2022. So the best they can do is support and pray for it. And pray for the country. You can see the young people are still very fearful, very forceful and fearful of what would come next. So even the pressure that is on the United Alternative Government is to ensure that they have a candidate now. But I would also think, in my perspective, it's still very early to decide on a presidential candidate. I think Mwai Kibaki was picked as a candidate 3 months to elections.
Okay.
So it's only government that can put you up for very early campaigns. Early campaigns only benefit the government because they have the money, they have the resources, but bado kipenga hakijapulizwa. So there's still so much time even for the committee to decide on which formula or which matrix they're going to work with. But at the moment, Kenyans are feeling the pinch, the pinch on the pump. Kenyans are the cost of living is too high, from the bedroom to the kitchen to the living room. You're feeling it all over.
Okay.
So
to the bedroom.
Even the bedroom is feeling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is the bedroom feeling it?
The bedroom now, members of my generation are not able to give birth because they can't sustain children anymore.
Okay.
The cost of living is too high. So it's affecting the bedroom politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to give an opportunity to do. I'm coming back to you because I'm going to ask you about Kiambu and you want to represent them. As a woman, I want to, Jeff, what do you think about the temperature of this country? Do you like what you're seeing?
Of course not. And Jagero, allow me to first of all thank you for hosting me.
Yeah.
Thank your viewers for having me.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite shows to watch.
Thank you very much.
Listen to analysis from both you and Odhiambo.
Yeah.
And sometimes advice. But to get into it, I'd say that the country is not heading in the right direction, and I think majority of the country agrees. And the mood in the country is very decisive at this point in time. As you've heard Angel say, that right now, saying the wrong thing politically can get you in a lot of trouble. And the reason for this is a bed that the government of William Ruto has made for themselves. Because continuously, this government gave a lot of hopes to the electorate when they were coming into elections. And to it, I was also part of helping this government come into power because I
Is that so?
Yes.
How did you? What did you do?
I don't know if you have time for that story, but I can tell you.
No, you can. In high school, you were taught about first draft, second draft, third draft.
Yes.
And then the fourth one.
Yes.
You can give us the fourth one that summarizes everything.
So, summarily, to say the least,
Yeah.
I was in a team or a consortium of youth leagues within the Kenya Kwanza coalition, because then I was the national youth leader of a party within the Kenya Kwanza formation. And so we really campaigned for the presidency of William Ruto. And at that time, and the hopes that we carried as the people who carried the vision of William Ruto was that he would do everything he said. And he had a beautiful manifesto that if he followed and did not turn into a business venture, would have worked. And so as a result of the decisions that this government has made, continuously introducing new ways of dipping into people's pockets, instead of pesa mfukoni, sasa pesa hakuna kwa mfuko. Sasa that has led us to where we are, where you find that the very institutions that brought this state to power are now finding problems with the state, including the church. It's so much so that now we are seeing priests go to morning shows, which is almost unheard of. I would want to know, Jagero, because you might have had a little salt than me, as Waswahili usema umekula chumvi kidogo kuniliko. When was the last time you saw a priest on TV dissecting political issues?
I think not much. We saw Njoya on the street, but that was about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I want to take you back to Ruto, the man.
Yes.
He came with a very good document, and he tabled it before Kenyans and said that, look, this is how we change this country. And you, amongst others, decided that, look, this is what we are going to do as a country. But I'm not sure if you looked at the man before the paper he was holding in his hand. Did you actually think that he was a man that could actually deliver? Did you look back to history and say, okay, we have seen Ruto being in the agricultural ministry? What did he do there? He has been an MP from Eldoret North, correct? For years. Did you have a look at what he had done there that would make you feel like this guy, Anatosha Unga? What was going on there?
Let me tell you, Jagero, the unfortunate thing about the politics of our country is that it gets very high octane very fast.
Okay.
And at that time, depending on the position that you are subjected to what you would call either indoctrination or a hopeful belief system.
Okay.
Which is what William Ruto was very good at. And William Ruto, the man, made people believe that he was being persecuted for being an outlier. And I've heard you say he was an outlier before. So he actually sold that to the people. And I remember one of the most convincing things that William Ruto would make people believe is the vision to see themselves through him.
Okay.
And that in itself obscured a lot of the other things that were obvious red flags. I'm not going to run away from the fact that there were red flags. But at that time, one of the main arguments that, of course, the movers of power would give us, the agenda carriers, was, how come these things did not come up when he was deputy president? How come now is when we are seeing all these things spring up and now suddenly Ruto is the devil incarnate? But all this is political machinations. And you see, unfortunately for Kenyans, I like to say that our government is not creative, and is not as a consequence of lack of people who can be creative. It is as a result of the fact that we are a predictable society. So our predictability puts a lot of lacklusterness in their creativity. And the reason I say this is because you can see it happen now. Because William Ruto, the man who came into power because of state persecution and being the outlier, has now turned the same gun that got him to power on Rigathi Gachagua. Because now that is when you're suddenly seeing Rigathi Gachagua has all these cases, he's suddenly a bad person, he has done A, B, C, D, and you're asking yourself, to the person who did not know Rigathi Gachagua before being Ruto's running mate, where were all these things? Did Ruto know?
Yeah.
So I spring that question.
Because Uhuru Kenyatta also tried taking him, freezing his account. Absolutely. Well, not Uhuru Kenyatta, but the, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. But the question I'm asking you is, Uhuru also tried messing up with his account. But then the other question is, Muthi, I'm coming back to you. I want to stay with Jeff for 1 minute. Are you and a lot of people realizing and suddenly saying that, look, we made a grave mistake. Perhaps we should have interrogated Mr. Ruto a little more. Perhaps we should have listened to Uhuru Kenyatta. Perhaps we should have asked more questions. Perhaps we should have asked, why are you going with Gachagua, not Kindiki? What is going on? Do you think that looking back, there is
There is no running away from that, Jagero. It's true. You've heard even my principal say it.
Okay.
That one, we were cheated. Two, we should have asked more questions. But here is the catch. Fear is a far much stronger emotion than logic.
Yeah.
And in times where human beings are put between the decisions of being afraid and being logical, fear takes over very quickly.
Yeah.
The fear that was there was that if this hustler, if this man who is christened the savior of the common people does not ascend to power, it means that the common people will never have an opportunity to ascend to power. And so he represented something bigger than himself. And at that time, the fear of not seeing it come to fruition is exactly what drove people, to that.
Looks like you're having a cold today.
Yes, I'm having a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, no worries. You can ask Nani to give him some lemon, something. Now, I want to go back to Muthia. Muthia, there is, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah,
Kikuyu
perfect.
names.
No, you're very good.
What did you think about Ruto before the fact? You know, I'm not sure how young you are, but all right, you know, I don't know really. What did you think about Ruto really when Gachagua was trying to sell him in Mount Kenya?
I was in the Azimio campaign.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I was the Secretary General of the Daughters of Raila movement.
Together with Zwena?
Together, yes, with all those guys.
Okay.
Tukipandisha Baba Mlima.
All right.
And I saw Baba's character, and I felt that this was the man to lead this nation. This is a man who understood democracy and political, creating better, meaningful political spaces. And I was so sure about William Ruto because of what Mwai Kibaki did to him when he was in cabinet.
Okay.
And that alone was enough reason for us to ensure that we do not elect William Ruto into office. And we, as the voters, we are also to blame because we have so many clips of leaders saying that tunataka huyu mwizi wetu, When we start saying things like that, we are in a very big mess. I thought it was a bad idea to elect William Ruto, but it was a terrible, terrible idea to elect William Ruto. And I think from his CV, I don't know what's wrong with us as Kenyans. When we have someone with a good CV, but you still want to elect the musician, you want to elect the comedian, that is okay. Those are hobbies that you work around with. But if a teacher if you are supposed to teach and step into a classroom, you need to have gone through training as a teacher. Yeah, if you're supposed to become a doctor, you're supposed to go training as a doctor. But if you need to get into a public office, you need to have a background in public policy issues, whether formally or informally. So I think that as a nation, we need to critique more the people that we elect into power. We need to critique more what are the kind of people we are giving very sensitive dockets, because dockets like national security are very essential, very critical. We need people who understand that, not people who sing about them, not people who make jokes about them. And we have seen that time and over. Even when Nairobians were supposed to elect a governor in 2017, thereabout, and they had a very sharp guy like Peter Kenneth. And he had a track record of being one of the best Gatanga MPs that Muranga had ever had. But they still went ahead and got who they wanted to get. And later on, he got himself impeached, and that whole circus went over and over. But we still miss out on the best brains, on the brilliant ones, and go for for minds that don't work. We keep celebrating the tenure of Mwai Kibaki. It was a very hot tenure for him. I can imagine 2003, 2004, gearing to 2005. And then after the yes and no campaign, gearing again into 2007, where as a country, as a nation, we had one of the lowest moments of the post-election violence. And Mwai Kibaki stood steadfast, and ensured that the country steered on economically. And today we celebrate a generation that has enjoyed free primary education, one of the most progressive policies that we've had. So you can clearly see that there's a difference when we elect proper leaders and when we elect improper leaders. Yeah. So we must be ready to lie in the bed that we make, because God is not on the voter register. We elect these leaders ourselves. So when we put God in the mix, we tunaribu.
Okay.
We need to know that if we put garbage in, there will be garbage out. And you cannot expect a bicycle to work like a Mercedes-Benz. And in this case, we cannot expect a wheelbarrow to perform like a Mercedes-Benz. It is a wheelbarrow. We are being ran and ruled as a nation in the wheelbarrowness.
Yes.
And we want to perform like a Mercedes-Benz. We want to be Singapore. We want to be Japan.
Yeah.
We want to be countries that put digital
Ruto is saying we are going
platforms.
to Singapore, by the way.
But we are going on a wheelbarrow. Yes, we are going there, but we are going on a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
When are we going to take off?
All
We are
right.
still on the runaway.
There's one question. I want to welcome Mr. Odhiambo, but I want to stay with you for 1 minute and ask you, when Jeff and his youth league were running around, and did you guys tell them about this, about what it was waiting for them,
Oh, we
quote
did.
unquote?
We began this journey
Okay.
with the handshake
Okay.
that gave birth to one of the most promising documents, and that is a Building Bridges initiative. And we keep talking about that policy paper up to today. And the people of, let's say for my county, Kiambu County, one of the second largest, most populated, very cosmopolitan. We host every other person from across the country. And it is so highly populated, but receives funds just like any other. And you know, there are demarcations where some constituencies are very highly populated, and they still receive the same amount as other places that are even much lowerly populated. So that inequality in itself was a thing. And now he's Paul. Before that, he was Saul. Jeff.
Mr. Jeff.
Mr. Jeff, he's now Paul. He has repented. But the Saul that was in Jeff, they campaigned against the Building Bridges initiative. They called it a worthless document, a corruption strategy, an embezzling platform for Kenyatta
all
to
manner of
become
names.
Dynasties. And look at what the Building Bridges initiative was talking about. It was ensuring that there was the concept of one man, one vote, 1 shilling, and that to ensure that we even have a harmonized way of engaging young people with the Kenya Youth Commission, because we are having a lot of issues today. And Uhuru Kenyatta pointed out that we have an elephant in the room, and it is going to blow up, and that is the youth. And he prophesied that. But the Saul in Jeff did not listen.
I want to go to Odhiambo, and I want to cue for me the video where after the impeachment is upheld for Gachagua. I want to cue that video, all right? And then Odhiambo,
yes.
Welcome to the program. Thank you very much for being late. Now, something is bothering me. Mbuthia Angel was on your side during the elections of 2022. You were very much on Azimio, and I think you are closer to Azimio than Angel Mbuthia was. All right, and when you guys were trying to get Raila to State House, you knew who Ruto was, and you thought at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was actually not good for the country. Okay. But then Ruto gets in, and you quickly run over to Ruto yourself, and Mbuthia is wondering, Odhiambo, we were together. What has happened? What has changed?
What's changed?
Yes. What has changed?
It's a democracy.
Okay.
First of all,
go ahead.
I think it's nice to see Mbuthia and Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff has a suit like mine.
This is the kind of suit that he was having yesterday. Green.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's beautiful.
He's a sharp dresser, so I would know.
All of you guys look very smart.
Thank you.
And it's nice to have you. So one, it's a democracy.
Okay.
Two, Ruto was not a bad man then.
Okay.
He's not a bad man now.
Okay.
What is that power especially the presidential level, someone does not get themselves there. They're made to be president.
Okay.
Right? Mbuthi and myself were, of course, sitting on one side, and we were presenting our candidacy through Raila Odinga, and we knew Raila Odinga would have served this country justice, because I believe that the people who create a problem, you don't put them to be in charge of solving the same problem.
Okay.
But Kenyans decided on the right way. And the right way, according to the democratic processes, was to have President Ruto as their choice.
Okay.
And remember, President Ruto himself started off by saying he needs a very robust opposition. And we were still very robust in the opposition. It is only one of my clients who jumped ship and went to President Ruto, and that is Tom Ojienda. And Jalango and that team, they jumped ship. But left us still in the streets with our suvurias on our heads, but
Okay.
we were not having this cap, we were having suvurias. And the opposition was very advanced, to the level that the last meeting we did have at Serena.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched it. We were harassed in front of Serena Hotel when people were just talking. They were not demonstrating. The leaders were just sitting in Serena just talking. And when Raila Odinga was leaving, he was beaten badly in terms of the harassment that we saw there.
Okay.
Now, fast forward, Raila took a step back, and all of us saw it. And when he took that step back, by that time I was still very much behind Raila Odinga, because I believed, something in me believed that something is off about this country in terms of how the policies that were being presented then were going to be implemented, because there's something we had a question about.
Okay.
But then comes a time where the people decide that President Ruto and his regime is not actually the question. Parliament is the question.
Okay.
I don't want us to forget that point. That there are questions which resulted to us going to the streets with the suvurias.
Okay.
One of the questions was the cost of living. And of course, this one could and could not fall at the foot of President Ruto. Because we have a country, we have a democracy that is having something called the malady of dual legitimacy.
Okay.
Where we have the president elected by a majority of the people. We also have parliament elected by a universal suffrage, majority of the people.
Okay.
So these guys are riding parallel legitimacies. That the president, you cannot just remove him unless it is a popular uprising. The parliament, which is exercising donated power by the people, is also there, and they should be doing their job to check the executive. But the question is, the presidential system was not proving to be working. And then we were hoping, as a country, that the parliament could serve us by stopping the president if there was an overreach. And also helping us in budgeting, because the cost of living can actually be done without the president putting his sign on anything. It can be done in parliament, absolutely, through legislation, through amendment of the financial bills, etc. But we saw in this country, the people went to impeach parliament. Actually, initially it was just a simple request. Reject the finance bill. We have no problem with any other thing. You are our parliamentarians. We're just disagreeing that on this finance bill, we are seeing you guys endorsing it. We want you to reject it.
Okay.
But the parliamentarians refused to reject the finance bill. What did they do? They tried to pass the finance bill. What happened? Guys went in. Then it morphed very fast, which of course I do appreciate. I was in Mombasa that day. I was doing a training there. I didn't believe that Kenyans could actually breach the walls of parliament. They did. And that changed this country. I am a person who loves stability of the state. Even if Uhuru Kenyatta would come back as a president and it will be as worst as whatever, I'll support stability first. Then we can talk as a country.
Yeah, but
so now that's the point where I switched.
Yeah.
Okay.
To support stability.
Yes, to support stability of the state. And Raila Odinga took upon himself, because if we went that route of the people moving to State House and impeaching the president, they can do it.
So right now, whether President Ruto is delivering on services that the people need is irrelevant.
No.
It is the stability that's relevant.
It is very relevant. But before even we start talking about
So then do you think he's delivering?
Of course, there are points where he's doing well. There are points where there are valid questions being asked. And I believe that is fair. We're in a democracy. We are not in an autocracy where the president does not have checks and balances. If parliament cannot work, the people will work. And that's why we're having robust discussions across the country. People saying, you know what, on this one, we don't see you doing something good. On this one, maybe. All right?
Mr. Jeff,
Yes.
Ruto has effectively failed, according to the United Opposition. I mean, what are some of the things that Ruto promised that he has completely gone against that you'd say, okay, how do you mark the president? Because he's been here for 4 years, right? Yeah.
By his own standards, really.
Okay.
Because like I said, this is a bed he made himself.
Okay.
And remember, in that dispensation, we were very active in debating people like Angel, who then were in Azimio. So they were our competitors then.
We had known the truth.
And you had known the truth, but we were better debaters. That's why Kenyans voted for in the direction that they did.
Better debaters, better propagandists.
Debaters, propagandists, potato, potato. It depends on who's listening on the other side. However, as I said, it is a bed he made himself. And this is why. If you look at the UDA manifesto itself, because there were a series of activities that William Ruto planned towards the coming together of what he called his manifesto. And I will get to what we agreed, even with respect to the youth, because the youth have been the biggest thorn in William Ruto's flesh. But one of the things he failed upon was something like housing. Housing was turned into a business very quickly. Because if you look at a lot of the housing projects that William Ruto engages in, and I like to think that this government has what I call shut-up projects, where they reduce whatever they want to talk about into a shut-up response. Because somebody is going to ask, umetufanyia nini? Tumejenga nyumba, tumeweka barabara, tumelainisha matibabu. Those are William Ruto's quick books. And when you look at how that plays out, for example, in housing, I'll give you an example of housing, say a housing project in maybe Ruiru, right? Has maybe 1,091 units built. In the word that it is built upon, any serious housing project should at least solve anywhere from 10 to 15% of the housing crisis in whatever locality it's supposed to. Those units, 1091, do not solve even more than 3%. So you're asking yourself, who are these houses for? And that is with the assumption that each house will carry at least 3 people. But we know there are studio apartments, there are 1-bedroom apartments, there are 2-bedroom apartments. So by that measure, people do not feel the effect of housing as he presents it. And I like to think that this government sometimes operates in a very, very thick echo chamber. That they will replay what they think is working to themselves enough that they tell themselves it has become truth. Because when you ask people about affordable housing, they will tell you, hatujui inasaidia nani. But every time the government will have a PR exercise of some housing project somewhere, there will be people who will be given houses, and then later in the news you will see them saying that the keys were taken away. Talk about even creation of jobs. Somewhere in their manifesto, I used to know the page, but now it's no longer relevant to me because
we should keep reading it. It's like a letter from an ex, right?
And keep opening your wounds.
Yes.
But they promised to create 100,000 jobs within the manufacturing sector. Not done. Right? They promised that even in their own marking scheme of housing, that they would do 250,000 units a year. They have only done 256,000 units in 3 years. So by their own standards, they are failing. So when you see President William Ruto go to a country in the north of Africa and take stock of what they are doing with their housing project, and you look at the comparisons that they achieve and what he is doing in Kenya, it's like comparing sleep to death. It is absolutely not comparable. So yes, has he failed? Yes, by his own standards. There is nothing that William Ruto is being told by the Kenyan people that is being pulled out of thin air. These are all things he said he would do. Look at healthcare. You see, Jagero, healthcare should not be something that you're playing Russian roulette or aviator with. It should be boring. And boring means it should be reliable, predictable, and effective. Right? You tell somebody that in one area or in one hospital, SHA will work. Then you go home to my level 3 hospital in Shago there, and my grandmother cannot even get a consultation because it is not working there. So how then do you measure the reliability of a health system that cannot? They will come and tell us that it is doing well, that people have onboarded. But what were they supposed to do when you give them a choice between onboarding and death? You scrapped what was working, brought this new system so that you can have an overhaul and a new system that you can control. And then you tell us people are signing on. What else were they supposed to do? And this expensive system of yours that you have could not even detect flaws. For example, the CS of health came and told Kenyans that SHA detected that somebody or they caught a system error where somebody had claimed to give birth 12 times in a year. You know, that is an insult to women of Kenya.
Yeah.
To assume that the gestation period of a normal woman can be the same as Suwarat somewhere in New York, 1 month. It is appalling to the Kenyan people that these are the kinds of things that this government is doing. So when you ask, it's not only to the United Alternative Government, to a lot of Kenyans, William Ruto has failed. You've pointed out statistics that there is no united opposition leader that has a clear majority. But if you tally up their influences, you see that William Ruto's influence pales in the shadow of what opposition is offering.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I don't know, Buthia, I'm going to ask you whether you agree and if you have studied the document that Ruto put before the people of Kenya and how much he has fallen behind in meeting some of those promises that he made. But something interesting about what he's talking about, the affordable housing that Jeff is talking about, and SHA. You guys at the DCP, I believe, and all the United Opposition gave an alternative budget of what they will do. And in that alternative budget, they said that they will actually try to gain 500 billion, okay, from some of the things that Ruto is doing. And they say they're going to effectively do away with SHA and return the 104 billion to the people of Kenya. He also said that they were going to sell all the projects that are unfinished. And affordable houses were some of the things that he's going to sell. As a lawyer, what do you think about that?
I mean, what you're trying to, because I can see where you're going with that. You're really nitpicking on what the United Opposition Principle says.
Okay.
However, you need to look at it from a broader perspective of
Okay.
restorative fixing.
Okay.
You see, right now, when you are on a table about to go through surgery,
Okay.
somebody telling you that your house is about to be closed is a non-issue.
Yeah.
You understand? Let's fix the surgery first. So when you hear the principals say that we will revert back to what worked,
Okay.
you're focusing on the SHA bit, the scrapping of SHA bit.
Okay.
But the undertone of what you are refusing to talk about, Jagero, in the next statement
Okay.
is that we are saying we will revert to what works. And that is the rallying call. You see, anytime you have an emergency, as I've put it, the immediate thing is to restore yourself back to status quo first.
Okay.
So all these things that you're hearing them talk about is all about restoration from SHA, and not only SHA, when it comes to affordable housing. And it's not because affordable housing, we have enough houses to fix the housing crisis,
Yeah.
because that in itself is a money minting machine for the government. And you see, it's not because it's coming out of thin air. This is a blueprint that this government does.
Yeah.
Every time they want a new way to make money, they introduce a new authority, a new levy, new officials, new money. It's not the first time. SHA was the same. Affordable housing was the same. National Infrastructure Fund was the same. The funding model was the same. So it's a blueprint to make money, and not to push Kenya forward, because it would be irresponsible to revert to something that does not work to the disadvantage of Kenya.
But I think
Kenyans are saying now this is not working.
I think there is something that he's talking about there. I agree with you in as far as restoration is concerned. You can restore, you can make it better. Or if you realize that this thing, okay, we have added another layer on top of this house, and we are being told by the people that, look, we need to remove this thing, and then have the house, and how the foundation was built to carry three stories, and now we have a fourth one, and the engineer is telling us, you have to remove this. That's fine, okay? But he is also talking about something else. He's talking about getting back the money, the 104 billion. He's an achuna. In fact, the wiper guy was talking about kuchuna. Chuna pesa hapa, chuna pesa hapa, chuna pesa hapa. And legally, it sounded to me like more of propaganda and starting fires rather than, because do you believe that you can actually sell the affordable houses when you take over
here's
government?
what I believe.
Because you speak so well, and I think you're such a professional, and you might just be in the lands ministry. You're gonna sell them?
You see, I'll tell you what, you've asked me a legal question, so I'll tell you.
Okay.
Contracts formed on illegality are null and void.
Okay.
You see, for example, and this is just to draw likeliness from different situations.
Okay.
Right? The main argument of the people who advance the ODS debt question is that it is an illegal
I
debt,
so
right?
love that you've
Yes?
gone there because
We'll get there eventually, but I wanted to draw a parallel.
Okay.
The crux of the matter is that it is an illegal debt, and hence the proponents of the same say that we should not pay it. In the same way, all these deals are not for Kenyans' benefit. As I've told you, the housing program does not fix the housing crisis. It is a money-minting issue for the government. So when you say you can sell the affordable housing, if they are made on illegalities, if we can get ourselves to prove that they are made on illegalities, and it is, the proof is as clear as day, because this is an issue of interests, tendering, friends of the president. If we prove that, then it becomes illegal ab initio. So yes, you can sell it.
All right, great. Mbuthia, what do you think about the fact that Ruto has failed spectacularly?
Yes, he has. And
On specificities.
yes, when we are going into that exactly. And you know, the deal with avoidable housing
Okay, avoidable.
is one thing that is very close to my heart, because why were the people of Githunguri tear-gassed? Because they resisted or rejected an avoidable housing project in their locality. And the avoidable housing concept is based on a public-private partnership. And what we continue to see is that the private in the PPP is Ruto, so should just be renamed to RPPP. It's based on him and the public and the government of Kenya. So it has nothing to do with the country, with Kenya. It took the decision of a high court to stop the construction of that project. And these are the things that we ask ourselves when we have even SHA and people who pay more and they don't get the service that they require. Is very frustrating. And you see, Ruto is working. He's just working for himself and his own stomach. And this comes clear to me, especially when I look at the national budget. And one thing is that I would like to tell young people to be very, very, very scared, because this national budget is a war chest that has been designed by William Ruto and his cronies. Look at the national security budget. A whole 567 billion has been allocated to national security. The national security budget in 2021-2022 was 290 billion. This budget of William Ruto on national security has gone threefolds. And if you look at 2023 and 2024, before the June 2024, June 25th, the budget was still at 290, 280 for national security. But this 2026-2027 budget, the national security budget is at 567. What does this tell you? Serikali inafanya nini? Inataka kujenga jela nyingi ndio iweke vijana. It wants to restock on the tear gas that was used and exhausted in the last 2 years, because they have seen that there's a problem there. They want to increase
that's a lot of tear gas. That's a lot of tear gas, right?
And then a huge chunk of those billions are going to national intelligence. They want to spy on all what we are doing on our phones. They want to be able to open that camera that is on your phone. This national budget is a war chest for William Ruto. It is geared towards gagging the young people of Kenya. Why would a national security budget jump from 280 billion in 1 year to 567 in just 1 year? What does that tell you? This is a government that is out to oust us. And I think the young people of Kenya should be very, very worried, because this man is coming for us. Anataka kuongeza polisi. In June 25th, 2024, when the police were outnumbered, he wants to ensure that there are police in every county. Na Mariamu ziongezwe. Police cars should be more. That is what he wants to do with this national budget. Because if I were president, on youth and innovation and youth empowerment and youth economic drivers, they've only allocated 100 billion. If I were president, I would just flip it.
Okay.
Because what is this? What national security alert do we have that we need 567 billion? It doesn't make sense.
That is additional.
Yes, an additional of 300 billion.
Yeah.
Because it was 280, now it's 567. Why do we need 300 billion more? It is to frustrate the young people of Kenya. And the demographics are very clear, Jagero. We are talking about a population, the age of between...
to frustrate them so
the
that they don't
democratic
vote.
process, so that they don't vote, so that they don't speak, so that they have no avenue to express themselves, and they have no avenue to better themselves. And when you look at this statistics, what in the national intelligence is telling William Ruto is that anyone who is between the age of 18 to 35, the country has about 16.9 million of them. And if all these people were to go into the voter register, with a voter register of about 22 million, and if we forecast it for 2027, it will go up to about 28 million. Means that more than half of that register will be young people. And that is what the government fears. And I don't know why.
And the government actually fears that all these people are going to vote against it.
They are going to vote against it. I can visualize that number, and I know very well that hizo ni kura zinasema one term. These are the most aggrieved. So instead, why not flip the numbers? National security, national security is ideally about protecting our borders, our seas, and the land within, interior.
Okay.
We don't need 567 billion. We are not on a national security threat.
Yeah.
And these are the things that bother me. You know, when a country like US invests heavily in national security, they are at war. They can do that. We are not at a war with anyone. It is the government of Kenya that is at war with its own young people.
Yeah.
The young people of Kenya.
I want to ask Odhiambo the same question, because I don't remember the last time Tanzanian came with arrows into Kenya. Odhiambo.
And even let me finish, Jagero.
Yeah,
let me finish my thought process and say that, even when you're talking about national security and looking at young people as national assets, that is what a country like Israel does. It ensures that it invests military-wise, education-wise, health-wise, to its young citizens. But our nation, our president, when intelligence tells him our majenzi wamefanya hivi, all he hears is terrorists, criminals, thugs, drunkards. He has never mentioned, show me where he has ever mentioned the term Gen Z. When he's doing national addresses, when he's speaking to the public, when he's talking about young people, he has never mentioned the term Gen Z. And this is a guy who is after us.
Okay. Odhiambo, Tanzanians have never come into Kenya with arrows, and even Ugandans.
Yeah.
They don't threaten us much. All they want is Migingo Island. I mean, what your government wants, 300 billion to fight. I don't know what, but anyway, you can feel from Jeff and Mbuthia that the president is doing really, really badly, and is that propaganda? What's going on there? I mean, this is a government that you support with your whole heart.
You see, when people choose to see things differently, seeing is a choice, by the way.
Okay.
You can choose to see things differently. I can choose to see you, Jagero, as a very good person on one instance, and on another instance, I can choose to see you as a bad person.
Okay.
But also, I can select what to give prominence. If looking at you and talking about you in bad light is fashionable and agreeable at that particular time, then I will talk about it. And if it is the opposite, then I will also do the very same thing. Of course, Angel and my brother here, Jeff, are seeing, unfortunately, this to be their reality. And it is painful. If I were in their position in seeing things that way, of course it looks gruesome.
Okay.
In fact, I always say, if you look at life, let's come to the camera work.
Okay.
In up close, it is very much of a tragedy. But if you zoom out, then you will be laughing because it's just comedy going on throughout. Now, there's so many things that have been said, Jagero, and I wish I had time to respond, but I'm not going to respond to them.
Yeah. You can respond to some of them
in passing very quickly.
Yeah.
One, which is of concern, she talked about the question of affordable housing, calling it avoidable housing. I have not once or twice on this show said that I think this could be done better in terms of the policy change, policy shift. One of the biggest questions that we have as a country, of course, is the question of housing. Today, not very many Kenyans earn above 100,000 shillings. Sure. And all of us here are aware that for you to get a decent housing where you can basically shower in the house and have a self-contained house, which is what I call human decency for me, you will be checking out, a two-bedroom house will be checking out about 14,000 on the minimum.
True.
a decent house.
Okay.
And if you're earning 100,000, by measures of decency or prudence in terms of finance planning, you should not be spending more than 25%
Okay.
of your income on rent. Now, if you look at somebody earning 100,000, loan deduction, whatever, statutory deductions, they will be netting at how much? They're about 48,000.
Okay.
Now, if you're earning 48,000, like that is your net, and you have to rent a house at 14, 15, 16, depending on where you live or which town you find yourself, then it becomes really crazy. And that is something that should not be there. And I've said, based on that the affordable housing should have been social housing. Social housing. What does social housing help us with? It helps us to manage, one, the rent question. Because landlords are crazy. They're charging whatever amount of houses out of their heads on their houses. But they're not even paying taxes on those. I hope you're aware. I'm a landlord myself. And KRA wanajua. Hii maneno. Okay? And these people seated here, no, their fathers or themselves or an auntie somewhere is a landlord. And they're not paying taxes on those houses, but they're charging whatever they're charging on those houses.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the question then is, how did we arrive at having these houses as affordable? It is important for us to understand. Ruto comes into power. This was, first of all, part of the Big Four plan that they had with Uhuru Kenyatta, which Uhuru vacated very conveniently, and then went into some conveniences of subsidies, which of course were very convenient for his political lifeline, and he secured himself out of power.
Okay.
Then Ruto comes in and says, as a legacy, because Kenyans love optics. We can shout here up to next year. But at the end of the day, development to Kenyans is optics. Who hajafanya anything?
Brick and mortar, you mean?
Brick and mortar. Hajafanya means we can't see. Development needs to be seen for most Kenyans. Leave alone us who could be arguing here about redefining development and saying development should be about money coming to the pocket and not brick and mortar. For many of Kenyans there, roads, lights,
Okay.
Industries, factories, etc. Okay. Now Ruto comes into power as now the executive head, which now he accesses full intelligence brief, full economic briefs. Now he understands the full picture of the presidency. All of us seated here don't know what happens when you become president. We are not one. We've never been. We can only speculate, including myself acting in defense. So he gets in and realizes the money for development, where is it coming from? There's no money. Our fiscal whatever is broken. We don't have any money for development here. But what can we do? Because we need to fix
So
the
he
housing
doesn't
question.
know, but he was a deputy president.
You can be a deputy president.
Without knowing.
Jagera, I think we need to appreciate the fact that deputy presidents are not executives.
But they know.
They could be having knowledge of, but it could
Because
not be comprehensive.
remember, Gachagua in his inaugural speech actually talks about emptiness in the coffers. So he knows.
And you realize that that is a very fat lie. There's no government
But you're
that
saying
has
the
no
same
money.
thing, that
Just
there was-
a minute. There's no government that has no money in the consolidated fund because government collects taxes daily. So how do you get in and find zero? It's something meant for foolish people to.
Maybe it was premature for me to interject, but go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So Ruto gets in
Okay.
and realizes there's no money for development in his kind of planning. So then where does he go to? He borrows from the book of Wanjigi, the book of Raila Odinga, the book of Mwai Kibaki. These three are the ones who introduced to this country PPP, specifically Jimmy
Okay.
Wanjigi. Okay? That let us have affordable housing. And why are we calling it affordable? Perhaps that's what we need to understand first and not call it avoidable. Affordable in the sense that there is nobody who is going to come and invest their money and buy land, one, okay?
Okay.
And build, all right? And then look for the market. We have seen houses in Kilimani and Lavington, wherever, everywhere across the country. They're selling those pieces of houses. But people are not buying as quick. But the government needs to have decency because housing is a right. Many people do not know that. It's a right, Jagero, that if you live in a bad house, your government is failing you, okay? So Ruto says, let's go PPP. We're going to provide government land. The government can adopt any policy as long as it is sufficient to serve the people and it follows the due process, okay? So we're going to provide land to give people who have the money easy time to de-risk them from what? From cost of buying land and the conmanship that perhaps may come with it.
Okay.
All right? So there is land which is not under use for now. Those lands are what we are going
But
to...
Githurai people were using the land. They were living on it. The ones that Ruto tear
we can
gassed.
go into the legality of some of them living on because it was not only Githurai.
Okay.
We were having Woodley. We have so many places where issues of occupation happen. And you cannot just eject somebody. Those are processes which, of course, are being canvassed in court currently. For those ones who are aggrieved, you must be compensated. I believe in some instances they were overreach. Of course, it can't avoid to be happen. But in clear instances, it should be clear that there's a relocation action plan, that we don't just eject you out of your house. There's sufficient notice.
Yeah.
And there is order of priority that in the new houses we're going to
I have a feeling that are you against or for affordable housing?
I am for affordable housing,
But not the way
done
Ruto is
right.
doing it.
redefined manner.
But not the way Ruto is doing it.
Done right.
In a redefined manner. And the redefined manner is, Jagiru,
Okay.
I don't believe in saying, this glass is very bad, throw it away.
Okay.
It is a glass already. What can we use? What can we make better?
Okay.
That's maturity for me. Okay? Saying that, Kenyans have a
But then
problem.
what you're saying then is that Ruto can make affordable housing a better project.
Jagiru, I don't know if you want to understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if you give me 2
Because
minutes.
I want you to go
Yes.
also to the 500 billion.
Yeah, if
you
give-
remember
okay,
that?
Okay, 1 minute.
Yes, I want you to go there so
1
that
minute.
we go. Yes.
Ruto says, let us have people who can invest in affordable housing come and put their money.
Okay.
We are going to give the land, and this land, especially those ones that are not under use but they're public or government land, we will give them. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, we are going to have a conversation with Kenyans on how do we give them houses. Those ones who want these houses. It is not a must. You're not compelled to buy these houses.
Okay.
What happens is that for living, it's cutting across because it's a financing model for you to actually have a guarantee of purchase, but you're not forced to buy. If you're a contributor to affordable housing, you have priority to get affordable houses. There's nobody who has contributed affordable housing and has applied and has been told, wewe, wezi poa sababu wewe ni Odhiambo. Ama wewe wezi poa sababu wewe ni Jeff. If there's one, the news could have covered it already.
The ones in Ondiek are called what? Are they affordable housing?
Now, there's something that's different in those ones. Those are not affordable housing.
They're not.
No.
That is the real housing for Kenyans.
That one is being done by Lab Trust, okay? Lab Trust in coordination with the county government of Kisumu, okay?
Okay.
Yes, because that land belongs to the county government.
Because
Now, let's
I
go
want
there.
I want to the money.
Let's go. I think we need a whole show on affordable housing.
Yes,
I
yes,
understood
yes.
it. And the policy shift is important. We cannot say that musinunue hizo manyumba.
The
next
problem with you is that you are talking about Ruto, doing optics with affordable housing, but you are also saying...
I'm not talking about doing optics. I'm talking about Jagiru. In fact, I want you always to understand what I'm sharing, that the problem that we have with this country, even in terms of that affordable housing we're talking about, we have 369 parliamentarians seated right outside here who know what to do, but they're refusing to do the right thing. Nobody's shooting them and telling them, if you don't do this, we're going to... But if you go further and investigate those parliamentarians, the quality of parliamentarians that Kenyans elect is one thing. They're criminals in parliament. I've said this before. Too many of them are wash people. Too many of them don't understand anything to do with public policy. They never went to a school of public policy. They don't have the goodwill of Kenyans. They went there to protect their ill-gotten wealth. And because Kenyans, with their foolishness, when Angel Mbuthia or Jeff comes to tell you, I am a qualified candidate, this is my track record, I am able to represent you better. You tell me, because you don't have money, you go away. I elect the one who has money. Then we end up with this problem. Now, as elites, we are seated here trying to discuss the problems of common Kenyans who are making poor decisions throughout. Perhaps the election should be shifted. From these people being allowed to make, because if you're poor and making decisions, you should not be allowed to make decisions. That's the fact. You should not be allowed to make decisions. Because,
okay.
because
I feel like you don't want to talk about the money that
I'm
NIS...
talking about it.
Yeah.
The money
Can you
is
talk
here.
about...
the money is here.
Okay.
We're talking about 567 billion shillings, okay, into security. It is understandable once more that from a commoner's point of view, we'd want to see this as an operation budget. Okay?
As a?
Operation budget.
Yeah.
But I want us to look at it as an operation budget.
Okay.
This is how it's
Operation
allocated.
to do what?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. One, the military, the Ministry of Defense, has been allocated 252.1 billion.
Okay.
The military, for whatever reason, we never know. No, none of us here has served in the intelligence community, unless Jeff, you are one, unless Jagger.
Never know.
You always look like one.
Can never know.
But
Who? Who?
So of course there's military hardware that needs to be bought. Military hardware is not cheap.
Okay.
We have helicopters falling.
That is the same amount. Boothia.
I'm
No,
bringing
no,
it
no,
down.
no.
I'm
He's
bringing
taking
it
it
down.
down because it's
I'm
a
bringing it
national
down, yeah.
security.
Okay,
budget.
It was not 5, 6, 7 billion for police. I mean, it would be crazy. Everybody will know that. I mean, are we stupid to take
She
money?
said they're going to buy tear gas.
No,
That's what I'm saying. It will be
You know,
crazy.
my concern,
Okay.
my concern was
Yeah.
in the year 2024,
Yes.
the national security budget was only 219 billion.
Yes.
Then the 2025 and now this one.
Yes.
2025 was at 464 billion,
yes.
and then now this one at 567 billion.
Yes.
I mean, what justifies that large amount of
and
allocation?
there's a percentage increase. It didn't jump from 240 something to 5. That would also be stupid of any nation to do. It went gradual from 2 something, it went to 4 something, and then came to 567. Now, again, Mbuthia, you want to be in parliament. Myself, I'm going to parliament. I'm certain. When we reach 2027, one thing that we're going to change in that parliament is the way we do this budgeting. Because budgeting is not done by the president. All of us know that. Budgeting is done at the National Assembly.
Sure.
Now, how do we sort this question, Jagero? It is National Assembly, but the Department of Defense prepares its budget lines and takes to the National Assembly. Have you seen cases where the National Assembly says no to budgets? Have you seen?
Hardly.
There
Hardly.
are.
There
IBC
are,
went
but
there
hardly.
and wanted to do how much money. They told where?
They're told Hakuna.
Akuna. Okay? So in this case, and I want to tell you something that is what we do at Political Headache to make people understand how things work.
Okay.
When the military is given 252.1 billion, one, we never know what, it's always called straight line budget or one line budget, where they don't itemize what they're going to do. Because let's say Al-Shabaab accesses that, oh, they're going to buy this. Okay, let's also buy this one. Because we can attack them. And what can happen at any moment, either as a proxy or whatever. Now, military, for the largest time, they're not at war. We're not at war. So that's why we're not having a war budget. A war budget is very huge. In fact, development is frozen when people are fighting. So military builds markets. Have you seen that? Do you know military builds markets?
The ones that Ruto has been opening.
Yes. Do you know those monies that people go and say, hapa ndaweka 20 billion, hapa ndaweka 30 million, hapa ndaweka, where does he get that money? It's not in the budget. It is from these confidential expenditures at the military. It happens.
But is that legal?
Today, it is legal. It's allowed. What's a confidential budget for? It means it's
Are we talking about confidential budget, or are we talking about the Mbuthia's budget?
It is the same one. That's where they get it out
the
from.
military budget has salaries, number one.
Okay.
Jeshi wakuli mawe na asante. Jeshi wanalipwa pesa. Ni wafanyikazi. Kwa hii pesa, you'll find that out of 52.1 billion, put about 70% going to salaries alone.
Okay.
By the way. Wages, about that money. Now you're left with 30% to budget for development of the military. You have to buy uniforms, you have to buy hardware, you have to buy softwares.
And build markets.
And build, now markets is a very small part, by the way.
If
But
that's
you
legal,
see,
It's a very
that
small
was still
bit.
happening 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Under a 200
It is-
billion budget. These are not
Today-
new things.
But why is he
Today,
buying? Why is
I
he
want to-
building markets?
I want to ask, but why should
that's why I asked if it's legal. Because
Is it building or not?
confidential budget, if we're talking about a confidential
No,
budget.
just before you speak, there's something I'm arriving at, Jagero.
Okay.
Because I want us to have a clear vision of what happens.
Perhaps you want to
Let's-
land quickly.
Yes, let's not squabble. Let's not squabble over the merits.
Because
it is not in our position
because
to-
Mbuthia
it's
is
in our position
asking
to
you,
ask.
why are you ballooning the budget and Tanzanians are not coming into Kenya with arrows
And what I'm saying,
and rungus?
I'm saying,
yeah.
it is not Ruto who has ballooned the budget.
Who has?
Military department presents its budget lines and suggestions of financing to parliament.
But who is the commander in chief
Can
of the
I
armed
ask a
forces?
Let me
question?
finish,
Can I-
Jagero.
no, can I ask a-
You're being very stubborn now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
No, can I ask a question?
Okay.
As you go on.
Yes.
IBC was told no.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
The military cannot be told?
No.
They can't be told no. Because Nelson Koech, is it Nelson Koech? Foreign Affairs?
He's the chairman of-
He's the chairman
he's
of
chairman of
things
Defense
like that.
Committee. Okay.
He's able, and they're able to query, because that is closed door, the media will never access.
Okay.
Never accessed.
So
It
they
is-
break it down in a
closed
conclave.
room that
they
we don't
must
know.
be breaking it down because us we will never know
Okay.
what happened.
So Parliament knows.
So what we don't know, let's leave it as such. We can only question as Mbuthi has done that. Why is it that huge?
Okay.
But what we know is that Parliament has the last stop on budget, not the president. The president can only try and suggest, oh, ebu muniweke here hapo. Okay? We will never know. But we can imagine that since he has power, he can suggest. Sindio?
And
It's
influence.
guaranteed.
And
He
influence.
can influence. That's guaranteed. But Parliament has the last word. It can say, what the hell? No, it can't happen. Number one. Two, the police, the National Police Service has been allocated 144.7 billion this year. Did the president say, wake up and say, let's give 144.7 billion to the police? No, again. It is the police, which has its own account and its own administrator, who is called the Inspector General of Police, who develops their lines and says, salaries and equipment. For police, it is clear.
But you see now Ruto is building markets and he's not building
That is
police houses.
The police have the chance.
This thing is so messed up.
What are parliamentarians doing? Why are you pushing this blame?
Can we allow
to
Jeff
Ruto?
to contribute to
Just- just allow
Let me
me.
just finish.
finish land of the land.
Final.
Please land.
Final.
Okay.
Intelligence.
Okay.
The other year they were given 45 billion.
Okay.
This year they've been allocated 64 billion. Intelligence is what keeps us safe. Many people do not know.
Those are Subaru boys.
They- no. Of course, there's state overreach. We can't. You know me. I'm not a denier of facts.
Okay.
There's state overreach. We've seen it, where Subaru boys are running around, helter skelter. We have those ones who are bad elements. Has there been an improvement? Yes. Okay. We are seeing a shift from Subaru boys, and now politicians who think that they're very overzealous are going for these goons, which we have seen all of us. Now, 64 billion. For the past 3-4 years, we've not seen an Al-Shabaab attack in this country, right? Since Ruto took power, we've not seen a major security incident. And even if it has been resolved amicably. Why is that happening? If we have a robust intelligence service. You remember during Uhuru's time, there was this fellow called Gishangi. He was summoned to State House by President Uhuru. And he got 2 letters on the table. One was resigned, another one was the president going to read that you're fired. And he signed the one for resignation. And what did Uhuru announce? I have accepted the resignation of General Gishangi. Because intelligence was failing this nation, despite the budget.
Okay. Can we go to
See,
Mr. Jeff? Yes.
again, regardless of my alignments, you have to be a responsible citizen. And there are some bits of what Odhiambo is saying that I agree with, like intelligence.
Okay.
Intelligence is good for the country to keep us safe. However,
500 billion.
no, he said 64 billion, right?
Yeah.
Now, but what I'm having an issue with, and this is the one rebuttal I will make for that whole argument, similar to him, he said a lot of things, but this is the part that got me.
Fine.
If you're going to talk about a confidential budget for the military or for the defense, that confidential budget has to be restricted within military activities. That is not building markets. And like you said, the problem with this country is that the confidential is absconded and left in such a general space that the president does what he is saying, that he niweke hapa, so that he has roadside declarations to make. And that becomes a very dangerous precedent to set, because it is not that William Ruto is going to be a permanent fixture in this country. In my beliefs and in the work we're going to put in, William Ruto should go one term. However, that not being said, we don't want any situation that the president comes next and starts fixing confidential expenditure in different places so that he can have money to run around and make roadside declarations. Because in the balance of probabilities and nature's direction, Angel and I are going to live in this world longer than the politicians that exist today, the older politicians, right?
But you know, we will be there.
No, I said Angel and I. But the point I'm trying to
you're
drive
actually
is,
in the same age bracket.
yeah, absolutely. I'm saying there's more at stake for us as people who are getting now into the meat of politics. He says he wants to get into parliament.
I'm gonna be
I also
the
want to be in parliament
I
one
also
day.
want to.
But we cannot find ourselves where we set precedents today that will affect us tomorrow and nothing changes. That Otieno will come here years later and start telling us things that we were hearing Nelson Koech tell us yesterday on live television. Then we will be doing this for nothing at this particular time. Then political headache will have solved nothing for this nation if we come and complain about the same things. So my question is to Odhiambo, and I really wish the government watches Odhiambo, because if they did, they would have lesser communication problems. Because he communicates government issues better than government people do. And maybe this would have reduced a lot of the problems.
How do you know? How do you know it's not government?
No, I'm not government. I mean,
He is a government affiliate. He's a government affiliate.
it is
Affiliate.
It is actually him who forced me to start supporting government.
How?
But nonetheless, he takes very well founded positions for government.
Okay.
And my point is to him, if a confidential budget is meant for a particular thing, let it remain within that thing. Let it not be leeway or some backroom funds that the president can use to run around and make political declarations.
Okay. Yeah. Jeff, are you a DCP supporter?
Yes, I am in DCP, not a DCP supporter.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to play the where Mr. Rigiji is talking about elections of a presidential candidate. You know, I don't know whether it's election or them fronting a presidential candidate. Do you have that video? Yes, we'll play it. And then you can also play the one for Justin Muturi, Zikifuatana. So, people of the internet, DCP is in a very interesting position. All right? So, I don't know whether you have a party leader. You're building a national, whether you are building a national network. All right? It is very interesting. So Gachagua is urging each principal to consolidate support within their respective. You have the video? You can play it. And then with Justin Muturi, yes.
One, tutakuwa na manifesto. Once we agree on one single presidential candidate, sasa ndio tutauda manifesto zote pamoja, ambaye yeye ndiye atabeba, ndiye atakuwa the flag bearer, alternative government. We'll agree to start with all the people ambayo wanataka kuwa rais, they are qualified. Hakuna mtu hapo hana qualifications zake. But we have agreed to start with kila mtu aende a mobilize kwake.
You know, coalition building is quite a challenge. And nobody thinks that it will be a walk in the park.
Correct.
But since we've already agreed to put up teams, a team to work, and all the constituent parties have seconded personnel there to go and try to come up, look at various scenarios, and come up with proposals.
Yes.
Which very soon we will be taken through at a retreat. But the initial draft actually it was given to us about 4 months ago.
Showing how the methodology to use.
The various scenarios available.
For you to identify.
For us to use to identify
a presidential flag bearer.
A presidential flag bearer. Of course, taking examples, lessons from what has happened in this country, and what has been learned from other jurisdictions across the world, so that yes, there is.
Mr. Jeff, I don't know what is going on at your party, and perhaps also in Jubilee. Because Jubilee has actually fronted a candidate in Olkalau, but there was talk in town that you guys are going to probably, have one person facing Mr. Ruto, Mr. Ruto's, candidate who is in UDA. I saw almost actually about 8 or 10 candidates lining up in Olkalau.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. You guys want to agree on a one candidate. But then there is a yet to be finalized formula. Okay? And United Alternative Government, so what is happening right now? The coalition is you guys look very strained, correct?
According to you.
Yeah. But Kalonzo promised a flag bearer on Q1, end of March 2026. His words, that elapsed. Then there was a retreat to finalize the formula, collapsed and were postponed. Then there were open method disputes, all right? So DCP disowned a party of national unity organized. Meru Isiolo joint opposition tour. Kalonzo has launched his own presidential platform on June and is asking and has opened a portal where he wants
For
money
support.
to be given to him
Yes.
without inviting Gachagua. All right? He also did not invite Matiang'i, and Karua was not invited. All right? And he said, I know they're all watching. That were his words.
Yeah.
All right? So Gachagua is also going into a 45-day
Hiatus.
hiatus. All right?
Yeah.
An election is in August 10th, 2027. All right? And so, and you are also targeting about 6.3 million new voters to reach about 28 million.
Yeah.
What is really going on? Number two, I want to ask you several questions in succession. So, Rigiji is a presidential candidate. Number two is, when are you going to get one? What was going on in Naivasha? What has become of it? And I also want to invite Angela, because she's also very close to DCP, I would say.
Those are two distinct entities.
You
should take the suggestion.
Irungu Kangata is a DCP.
No, he's UDA. He has not selected a party.
He was in thicker with you on top of the car.
Yes, we were there.
But he's also UDA.
He's UDA.
Yeah, go ahead.
Officially.
Jagero, what are you asking? You've asked like 70 questions. I need.
No. I think
but
you know.
Let me start from here.
Is he running as president?
Who, Rigathi Gachagua?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not?
By law.
By law.
How does that work?
Article 99.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more.
So I think you've started me off with the impeachment, right?
Okay.
And a lot of, you look at the decision made by the High Court, and you see the people who are on the side that celebrates the judgment are what you would call legal jokers. Because then they don't want to admit that precedent has been set in this country. And you see, the Constitution is not read as in separate occasion.
Okay.
It's a harmonious document.
Okay.
So yes, the impeachment was upheld by the High Court. But Article 99 says that until you exhaustively conclude all your avenues of appeal, you are not barred from running for president. And that is the precedent that exists currently in the law.
Okay.
And you see, right now as we speak, we only started the first phase of the battle, which is the High Court. And you have seen the remarks and the comments from that High Court judgment.
All right.
The analysis. We have had over 4 presidents, actually around 4 presidents of the LSK, 4 former presidents of the LSK, say that High Court ruling was a joke.
Okay.
We've had
hot air.
We've had 2 former chief justices say the same. So that should tell you that, you see, the law, granted that it is practiced over time, right? The reading of the law is the reading of the law. There is no two way about it.
Okay.
There should be no question on whether Rigathi Gachagua is going to run until the day he's exhausted all his appeal measures. So that one I think I've conclusively answered.
Okay, yeah, but then asking, when do you what do you think is the time frame? Should he's gone to the Court of Appeal? The conclusion of this is likely to happen in 2028?
It depends on how fast the court moves.
Okay.
For purposes of expediency, that's up to
but
the court.
If you say it was a joke, then perhaps there is people are colluding.
You see, now this is where the argument gets interesting, because now to the common wananchi, by the way, it looks very shady.
Okay.
Because the common wananchi is wondering, how can the court openly admit in broad daylight that your rights are violated and refuse to give you a remedy? Unfortunately, that absurdity that
50
exists
million.
there, the 50 million is not a remedy. That was
What
a
is it?
declarative right, which is available to the High Court, by the way, when your rights have been infringed. But it did not answer the question of fair hearing, right?
Okay.
So they agree that you have your rights violated, proceed to not give you a remedy, and throw you some money.
Okay.
You know what that sounds like? It's like if they have put a price tag on your rights, especially non-derogable rights. And you see, the courts have not been silent about this matter. There are famous cases towards it. There's a case of a guy called Mwasia, who was held by authorities. And when he went to the Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal talked about how he was held that amounted to torture. There was no two way about it. That process aborted, and this guy was set free. You talk about the famous Murateto case, the same thing. So it's not like the High Court did not know. In my opinion, I think the High Court took a very escapist method of delivering a judgment. They did not want to be the court that delivers a new baby that has never been seen before. So they threw that responsibility to the court above them. And now, unfortunately, as absurd as it looks like, now the Court of Appeal has legal questions to answer. For example, how can a right be infringed and no solution is found? Because when Rigathi Gachagua says he will not take the 50 million, it is not because that Rigathi Gachagua is an excessively rich man and 50 million would have absolutely nothing to do for him. It is because if you take the 50 million, you are openly admitting that your right to fair hearing can be derogated, your right to torture can be derogated. So long as the state pays you, they are okay to do that. And that's why I'm telling you, up to now, there is no question on whether Rigathi Gachagua is a candidate or not.
There is a specific issue where his rights were violated.
Yes.
So he was the court, the parliament had actually impeached him.
Yes.
Quote unquote. But then they go to the Senate. Okay. And there is sometimes there is time where his lawyers present the case and so on and so forth. Then they reach a crossroad juncture where Rigathi Gachagua is supposed to appear before. But you agree that they already had the document that the charges were with them. They were reading them.
Let me tell you, let me explain to you from a legal perspective.
Okay.
You see how the law is developed up to the point you have an advocate. Is the right to a fair hearing. Let me explain it to you from a medieval standpoint. Back in the day when, before we had advocates, there was something called trial by combat. You, Jagero, have a problem with Odhiambo here. You realize that you don't want to be executed ab initio. So you say you demand a trial by combat. What that dictates is that you find a gladiator of your choice who you think will represent you in this trial by combat. He does the same. Now, the fate of what happens to you is determined by the outcome of this fight. So if your gladiator wins, then you're set free. If his gladiator wins, you're executed. Now, can you imagine the absurdity of it that a trial by combat is arranged and then your gladiator does not show up? It will revert back to an execution, which still will not have given you a fair hearing. In the same way, the Senate had every choice to choose the method of which the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is going to happen. They chose an adversarial system where each side presents their witnesses, their documents, and whatever they feel advances their case. Here on this side, one side presents to completion, and they present their case to satisfaction. On the other side, yes, did Rigathi Gachagua's advocates have the documents? Absolutely. But Rigathi Gachagua was a one-man witness on that. So if he falls sick and you do not give him an opportunity to represent himself, then that trial immediately faces a fundamental flaw.
Did they have to? By law?
No, it's not about by law. It's about, now you see, the fact that they did not follow and give Rigathi Gachagua the same opportunity afforded to the other side has presented this legal conundrum we are actually in right now. And that's why in Kenya we have a very robust system that glorifies processes. Again, drawing parallels from different areas. The reason why the election in 2017 was nullified is because not of the outcome. Not that the president would not have been known. It is because the process itself could not have amounted to a validly elected president. And so the process is as important as the outcome.
Do you think that the Senate could have made their minds even before Gachagua appears before them?
Absolutely. We know it was still a political process. We are not going to run away from that fact. But you could still make up your mind and give someone a fair hearing. What was the rush? If they knew they were going to impeach Gachagua, or Gachagua did not have the requisite numbers in Senate, they could have just allowed for an adjournment for Gachagua to appear back in court. What was the rush?
There was no rush.
There was no reason to have any rush. So it is their own greed that has led them to this, because now the fair hearing would have fallen flat on its face. But because these people were allegedly, I have to say allegedly now, paid to make sure that that impeachment hearing is expedited, they did so to their own detriment. And now they have left a big glaring loophole that will allow Rigathi Gachagua to exercise his legal remedies. So again, to center and to land this particular point, Rigathi Gachagua is still a candidate until the finality of his appeal procedures.
Does that make you happy as a member of DCP?
Why wouldn't it?
Do you want him to be the presidential candidate?
Why not? I expect you seem like this is what in law you call leading questions. Jagero is leading me to a certain conclusion. He wants me to say no because he believes, and he forgets that I am a lawyer, so I know what leading questions are.
Okay.
So at this point in time, yes, I am happy. I am excited that he is a presidential candidate, and that is his right to run as a presidential candidate.
Okay, so then the question I'm asking is, when the committee, okay, because a technical committee chaired by former Agriculture Minister Kipruto Arap Kirwa was tasked with exploring coalition building frameworks. Gachagua wants a consensus. All right, let's go a few of us into a boardroom and agree on.
I disagree.
You disagree with which part?
Jagero, I like the fact that you can nitpick. I like it, and this is what journalism is about. But let me put you back into context, because I see Odhiambo is very contextual, and every time he wants to explain a point, he takes you through context.
Okay.
You keep saying that Rigathi wants consensus, but Rigathi is telling these candidates in that clip you just played that let everybody drum up support and popularity for their own party. Is that consensus?
I don't know. Odhiambo, is that consensus?
It is not consensus.
No.
He's saying, go get your supporters behind you. But at the end, we know what we need to do. And this is a very unique
circumstance. Why is he saying
in
that?
Kenya.
Why is he saying that?
It's because
he knows that Kisses are only 700.
Listen to this.
And he has got 10 million.
Let me tell you. Unfortunately, where we are at as a country, as a result of the political temperatures where we are, this is one of the only coalition, and I stand to be corrected, one of the only coalition building processes where the end for the United Alternative Government is known. See, even in Kibaki's time, right? They did not know what's going to happen. These guys came together at the end, and Kibaki Tosha became the moment that carried the election, right? Right now, the citizenry is telling us, and I don't even want to say the principles, even us who represent the principle, are being told, whatever you guys do, we don't care. Give us one person. So, that is not about consensus. You cannot box Rigathi Gachagua into a consensus situation. Absolutely not. It's because he's saying, and you see, the reason why a lot of people want to frame it as a consensus is because DCP is very popular. It's actually the most popular party at this point in time.
And that is the question I'm asking you then, and I'm going to ask both of you the same question. Is it fair for Gachagua not to be a presidential candidate given his popularity and the number of votes he's coming from?
And again, I don't have to draw these answers from anywhere else. And this is the thing I like about having these debates, is because people choose to be deaf when it comes to Rigathi Gachagua sometimes. Because he has said continuously. In fact, he's one of the only principals who says, even his principle is not very clear. Her principle is not very clear about it. Because my principle says that whatever it takes, I understand the sacrifices I need to make. In fact, just recently when they were in Western, he managed to tell the principals in front of them, all of them, in your public pronouncements, do not give Kenyans a hard time. Tell Kenyans that when push comes to shove, and I am not the candidate, I will support the candidate.
Okay.
Because that is how coalition building is. You are talking about a secretariat. Of course, these are people with different ideologies, parties with different following, different persuasions. Coalition building is not going to become a love affair. There will be disagreements. There will be divergence when it comes to the process of how it should get there. But the point is, the end is known.
All right.
And he has continuously said that the one who goes away from the end will go alone.
Okay. I don't know why Jubilee has become so small. Suddenly, they're lapping the big
Jagero,
dog.
I would watch my words at this point. I would watch my words.
Angel, calm down. I think this question is for me. I think this question is for me.
No.
What exactly happened? I mean, which corner, which bend did you overtake Jubilee? I mean, both here, what is going on?
No, Jagero, I would watch my words, and I would go to watch
but he would agree. He's so happy when I say that.
Leading questions or questions that want to get me out of my seat.
You remember there is a time there was an election in northern Kenya.
Isiolo.
Yeah, and Jubilee was actually, the candidate that was being replaced was a Jubilee candidate. And then somebody just came and swept UDA, actually.
UDA is the one that took the day.
And now in Olkalau, the person that, the MP that passed on was actually a Jubilee candidate, right?
Jagero, let me
Right?
let me paint
the
the picture.
Am I lying?
The former Olkalau MP, the deceased, was actually a Jubilee candidate.
Yeah, the Kiaraho.
David Kiaraho.
Yeah.
David Mheshimiwa Kiaraho.
But
Jagero, listen. You're putting us on suspense. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
William Ruto detests two things.
Okay.
Kuna mambo mawili ambayo Kazija anachukia.
Kazija.
Kazija. Kwanza.
You are old.
He has no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, but what is Kazija? Even there are other old people watching. Please.
There is a rewire called
Utengano. From Utengano.
Rewire.
Yeah, it's
Short
a set
story.
book. It's a set book from high school. It's, I'm sure you know of the enemy of the people, enemy of the people, and Mayai Waziri, Mamaradhi. We are the generation of Utengano.
Yeah.
Na kulikuwa na Kazija. So kuna mambo mawili Kazija anachukia.
Okay.
First, William Ruto detests the young people of Kenya. That one is a fact.
You keep saying that a lot.
He detests the young people of Kenya. That is a fact.
Okay.
Number two, he detests political parties, vyama vya kisiasa. The moment aliweka Biblia chini pale Kasarani, the next thing he went after is a Jubilee party. He was after Jubilee Party. He was out to finish the legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta. That is what he was about. If you remember very well, there's a time even when the police raided Uhuru Kenyatta's home.
I thought you guys were squabbling amongst yourselves.
No, we are not. This is the journey of Jubilee Party. This has been the journey of Jubilee Party. And immediately we were going from one interview to another, talking about, are you in Jubilee A or in Jubilee B? Uko na Sabina Jai, ama uko na Jeremiah Kioni? Which Jubilee are you in? That is the happiest moment of William Ruto, to see a political party being weakened. He hates platforms where democracy is being advanced. And you can see, for example, with ANC. ANC has been reduced to a briefcase. It is now a non-profit organization called the Progressive People's Network. That is William Ruto's doing. Even what you're seeing with ODM, when you talk about ODM, Sijui Linda Ground, Linda Mwananchi, that is the workings of William. Those are the workings of William Ruto. And then when you see it with Jubilee, same case. We spent 3 grueling years in court, from PPDT to High Court, to appealing. We almost went to the Supreme Court. We did all that because we were being challenged in different because of the workings of William Ruto. And immediately he did it when the Jubilee Party went into the hands of the likes of Kanini Kega. They withdrew millions of money from Jubilee Party. And those are the workings of William Ruto. So when you see political parties struggling in Kenya, it is not about how they are or their structures. It is the workings of William Ruto. And this is not the way it's supposed to be for Kenyans. And for Jubilee Party, it's a party that has now come back to life. It is here. We got our reigns back in last year, and we had our NDC chaired by Uhuru Kenyatta, our party leader, and he brought in Fred Matiang'i as a presidential candidate. So what we are doing now is working and building the party. And we are very, very much in the spirit of the united alternative government, or the united opposition. And when you see parties struggling, like even for Gachagua, in the case of Gachagua, William Ruto knows that he's sinking, and he does not want to sink alone. And he knows that he is no more term. That's why he's looting in 2 terms within 1 term. He's sinking, and he does not want to sink alone. He also wants to sink with Rigathi Gachagua. And my advice to Rigathi Gachagua is very simple. Don't pursue that matter in this regime. Don't pursue or exhaust your options when William Ruto is still in power. It is going to end badly. Gachagua should wait for the new generation that is going to come in next year and bring in a new fresh structure that will give him a proper and fair hearing, to give him back his rights as a Kenyan citizen, so that he will be finished. The new regime of me and people like Jeff and others, we are coming in, a new generation,
can I ask
fresh
you?
blood.
Yeah, I want
myself, presenting myself from Kiambu County for woman rep, we are going to ensure that we fagia yote and ensure that even the judiciary cannot attack and defend at the same time, because that's what they're doing to Gachagua.
Yeah.
They are blowing hot and cold, and that's very wrong and very unfortunate. And then awarding him 50 million for damages. Then it means that every time you're harassed by the police, by Alcoblo, by whoever, you should be compensated for how they pick you up and throw you into it means we've not been pursuing matters properly. I think, Jeff, we need more lawyers to be saying that I was mishandled between my point of arrest to a police cell. I need to be compensated because the police do a lot of
I really like the way Gachagua has grown DCP party with sweat and blood.
And give it to him. And
He has done a
that.
lot. But my question when it comes to Jubilee is that, look, does it even have a party leader? I don't know. Where is Uhuru Kenyatta? But that's not what I'm asking. DCP has been going from place to place trying to popularize the party. He's in London, he's in the United States, he's in Kisii, he's everywhere. The other day he was in a very bad studio in Mulembe Nation. I don't know. It was all white. I mean, I would suggest that you guys have,
I think
but I'm not. No. I'm still asking you a question.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see Jubilee trying to popularize their party. You and Pauline Njoroge are at Linda Mwananchi. What is going on with Jubilee Party?
Let me say that we have to give it to Gachagua, and he has done it very well.
Yeah.
Going from because I believe he knows William Ruto than many of us. If there are two people
more
who
than
know,
Uhuru Kenyatta, who was the dynamic duo.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to. I'm saying if there are two people who know and understand who William Ruto is Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua. So when we see his zeal and zest, we must know the kind of danger that we are in if we decided to go back to that guy. And so when we're talking about Jubilee Party, Linda Mwananchi is not a political party. Linda Mwananchi is a movement. And I have just mentioned about the wars in Jubilee Party. Raila Odinga came to the Jubilee Party headquarters and told us, the leaders of the party, together led by our Secretary General then, Jeremiah Kioni, take heart and ensure that you fight for this party till the end. The friendship between Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta was tight. And when we see Linda Mwananchi, a faction that spoke the mind of Raila Odinga being harassed, we have to stand with them. And it is even worse when they are members of our generation being harassed by another different generation that believes that they are a status quo. Removing the status quo, Jagero, is not going to be easy.
Okay.
When you look at the Linda Tumbo team, or I hear now they are called Jodongaich. Jodongaich.
I can say that better for you.
Yes, the Linda Tumbo coalition.
But I want to ask you.
It is ruthless.
I want to ask you when you go to Linda Mwananchi rallies.
Yes.
You are collecting members for Jubilee.
Let me tell you, Jagero. When we were in Linda Mwananchi Thika, I supported Linda Mwananchi in my own way as a candidate in Kiambu. I gave them the branding they needed. I used the party colors. I supported them in every way to show them that they are not in this movement alone.
Okay.
Jagero, we will sink deeply if we are selfish and look inwards and not outwards.
Kalib Amisi has taken off with his party. Where are they going? Are they going to Jubilee?
No, they can't come to Jubilee. They're their own.
Why not? They are on their own.
We are partners in this movement. And I think today there was a very collective discussion between the Linda Mwananchi leaders or the Linda Mwananchi frontrunners who went to even partner with Fred Matiang'i. The next Linda Mwananchi
they partnered with Fred Matiang'i?
Yes, Linda Mwananchi tour is going to be in Kisii and Dr. Fred Matiang'i is going to be the host. So when you look at this is a journey that we must walk together. Let me tell you, I even saw Kenyans saying that
everybody's wooing them.
Everybody is going to be in Kisii in February 26th, including Oburu Odinga, Gen Z leader.
Okay.
That's why nobody's being left behind.
Can I ask this guy a question? If you allow me, Mr. You sent Irungu Kangata over there for what? To sign up people?
No, you see, Irungu Kangata. You have to understand who Irungu Kangata is. He's one of the most shrewd politicians you'll ever see. Do not be
Odhiambo said that.
do not be fooled by his innocent, soft-spoken nature.
Okay.
So, Irungu Kangata went to the Linda Mwananchi rally on his own accord. And he passed the message. And let me tell you how you know. Sometimes messages are not sent in the content of the messages. It's who benefits most. Similar to narratives and similar to propaganda. Sometimes don't listen to the propaganda. Look who benefits most.
Okay.
Irungu Kangata has put himself in a situation where he wants to benefit from both ways.
Okay.
In the sense that he actually agrees that DCP is the most popular party right now. He agrees with that. He went there with the cover of, I am a DCP affiliate, but I support Linda Mwananchi. Hence, you Linda Mwananchi guys should go look for a political supremo in DCP and come to an arrangement. Do you know what that does? It immediately kills off detractors who will say he's not in DCP. And it kills off detractors who will say he's not in Linda Mwananchi.
Okay.
But the conclusion becomes he is nowhere yet. So I don't have any problem with the message because it does good for my party. In fact, I wish Linda Mwananchi well. They do a good job. And as we have said, you have to give it to William Ruto for being a good politician.
Is DCP salivating for that constituency?
What constituency?
Linda Mwananchi.
Linda Mwananchi is not yet a constituency. They're a movement. You've just been told.
But it's a constituency. I mean, yes, okay.
Until
are you salivating for the movement?
You see, partnership if it ends to the goal of removing William Ruto is always welcome. There is no problem with that. It's not about salivating. Let everybody build their own respect. And if you see what Linda Mwananchi is doing, they're trying to build their own respect. They're trying to come out of the cocoon, and apart from, of course, the failure to delink themselves with ODM
because I wanted to ask you that.
Yes.
Mimi nikiwa hapa kama bado katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM.
Yes, it's still, and you see, we talk to some of these people because they are young people.
Do you think Sifuna should still go ahead calling himself the Secretary General?
By now, Sifuna should have made a move out of delinking himself with ODM.
Okay.
Because I keep on asking the people in Linda Mwananchi, if today Sifuna's problems are resolved with ODM, are you following him back to ODM? And it is a question that they fail to answer because they know that Linda Mwananchi was birthed off the injustice that they perceive to have been done to Sifuna.
Okay.
However, they are not comfortable with going to ODM. So that tells you that Sifuna needs to make a move soon. And I've heard him say it.
Yeah.
That has been a very big critique. In fact, one of the first people to advise Sifuna to do something about, one, the excitement of Kenyans around Linda Mwananchi, and two, making a move for his own was myself.
Okay.
And that has to be the thing that christens him as a person who now can be salivated for.
Yeah.
Because if you see how he is moving, whenever he's entering a new territory, he's now very careful. Whenever he's going to Mount Kenya, he was very careful. In fact, Meru flopped.
Yeah.
Meru Linda Mwananchi flopped first. They had announced they will do it, they didn't do it. And then they come to Thika and you see there's some sort of consensus around you can go to Thika. And now they are going to Kisii with some sort of consensus you can go.
But
The aim is-
do you then think that everybody else, all the people circling, DCP, Jubilee, is very enthusiastic, popping out of cars with Linda Mwananchi, and Mbuthia is here, is one of them. Matiang'i is on the other side. Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't know what is going on there. But they are telling Sifuna, you got to resign, bro. We are looking for you. But you still have this UN job that you're not letting go. Okay, what do you think everybody's telling him? Resign, bro.
He knows. I think he was on a podcast the other day and he talked about he's been hearing a lot from people.
Okay.
Right? And he knows what he needs to do. He knows that will be the defining moment.
Yeah.
And I once listened to Otieno here. I told you I watched the show a lot.
Yeah.
He said Sifuna failed to recognize when the red carpet was rolled out for him. Man.
All right.
And for me, I disagreed with Otieno at that point.
At that, yeah.
But now I agree. The more you delay it, the more confusion that happens in Linda Mwananchi. Because Linda Mwananchi has a good base message. We would like to have them as partners.
Okay.
But
Partners.
they need to make sure that they consolidate themselves into something organized. The same way Rigathi Gachagua listened to people first, formed DCP, and moved out with DCP.
All right. Odhiambo, how do you summarize all these things? Because then it appears that that Mbuthia and Jeff are agreeing with you on some of the things that you've said here. But again, the supporters of Linda Mwananchi have always said that, look, you are so tough on Sifuna. You gotta let Sifuna breathe.
Being a lecturer, one thing I know is that the students that I loved the most, I was very tough on them. And today they are on air. They are on TV stations. Some of them are in radio stations. Those ones are the ones who I was tough on. And they really didn't like me when I was in school with them. But now they call me, hey, Mwalimu, sometimes when I go to cities and I meet them there, I don't even know their names, by the way. Hey, Mwalimu, we told me in Masen. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm transposing that to this discussion.
Okay.
That I believe Sifuna has a very good chance. But then, to understand Sifuna, you have to go back to his origin into politics. Did Sifuna make himself? No. Sifuna was made. All right? There was a gap that was there, and then he exploited it. And then, of course, he didn't have a base, and he still doesn't have a base. And he's a scared person because he doesn't have a base. We've been in conversations where we've been told he's doubtful of the people's support because he doesn't have a base that he can call and shows up for him. He also knows, he's a man who is brilliant. He also knows that, you know what, Kenyans could be fooling you. They fooled a few people before.
They have.
Yeah, they fooled a few people. Tuko na wewe.
You don't want to say their names.
No, I don't say their names. But Kenyans are funny people. Kenyans will only support you to the end if you have some level of vitriol that then syncs or synchronizes with their tempo. That, you know, Kenyans need you to point for them where the Satan is. And that's why you can hear my sister Angel very much giving Ruto publicity constantly, because you need to point to Kenyans. She doesn't see her. Yeah, because if we say let's go for the plan of what the United Opposition has, you don't really find it. It's not there. But let's tell the Kenyans, you know, plan is abstract. The commoner, that I've said, the problem in this country is not us. The problem in this country is the commoner.
Okay.
So the first problem we need to take in and Chwado Kabesa is the commoner. That means gaining the stupidity out of most of their heads.
Okay.
Because you look at Sifuna today, I am hard on him because I know he can do better. When you see a brilliant student, even you in your house, when you see your child is brilliant and she's going to mess, of course you're going to be strict on them. Hey, no, don't do that. Go this way. So however much the rest will be complaining, whatever we told Sifuna, and somebody like, I've already said this, somebody like Abby who picks whatever we talk about, she listens. The output of Linda Mwananchi. It's good. And even Hamisi, who is claiming that he finances or he started the whole thing, is also saying, I'm the father. Sasa, tusiende kuongea nao watu. And I like what Wanjigi is doing, by the way. Let me tell you. I saw him yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yes,
conference?
Yes.
I like what he's doing. Because he's saying, hey, no one term, no two term. Let's first talk about the issues. As much as those issues don't resonate with the commoner. Because audience debt what? The commoner, I love you, kid. The commoner is umwambie shetani afanye kuris. Okay? So anyway, long and short of it, I think United Opposition has a beautiful chance, but of course they're bouncing it up, they're messing it up. There is no proper agenda that they're talking about still to date. I must give it to Gachagua that he has reorganized this team, and he has he's coming out as the person who understands the politics of President Ruto.
And I want to ask you something about Gachagua then. Do you think it is fair for Gachagua to let somebody be the presidential candidate given the bulk of the work that is done? I mean, you told me that what Kalonzo Musyoka does is to drink tea.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And Njugu. I mean,
unfortunately, power doesn't work like that. And I tell you, may I support Gachagua on one thing. You have the numbers, you have the metal, you can carry your lectern in another person's compound, dominate them, and tell them. Now, surely, Jagero, Gachagua is coming around with 4 million or 3 million votes of his own. Then you with the 1.3, what don't tell him? Gachagua at the end of the day cannot afford, or if he can, I don't know, but I know he cannot afford to be in the cold for 5 years. Okay? So if these people look like they're jokers, then decisions can be made in this country. We've seen it before. And I'm not saying that he will join Ruto. No, he could be joining another candidate, particularly. But so far, you don't see Sifuna with this proper organization.
But you told me yesterday that he should join Ruto. Forget about Sifuna and the rest.
I'm telling you, I'm so happy if he will join Ruto.
Because that would be his wish.
Yeah, that's my wish. Because Jagiro, let me put it as such.
Okay.
The country is hurting.
So now you want to take a high moral position.
The country is hurting.
Okay.
The country is divided.
Let us heal the nation.
Those
jokes.
Yeah, we have had pain before.
Actually,
we are not really sure what Kenyans are fighting
Otieno, where we come from? Otieno, where we come from?
March 9, 2018. We don't understand what Kenyans are fighting over.
Okay.
It is time to heal the country.
Otieno, actually, I'm not an Arsenal supporter, but I was really rooting for Arsenal so that the country can heal.
Can heal. Let me tell you. Actually, I'm just feeling
See,
that.
I'm seeing what Otieno is doing, and where I come from, there is a saying that goes, jokes are sins sometimes.
Okay.
Those kind of jokes are sinful to the people of Mount Kenya.
But let's talk about Wanjigi then. Because Wanjigi is self-styled outsider. This guy took over Safina. And he's now doing a lot of press conferences. I actually hosted him in Mombasa. Just unfortunately that it turned into an indoor arena kind of rally, which became very, 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 very,
It was beautiful,
it was. And then we have David Maraga. And then now we also have the drums of Edwin Sifuna. We have a frustrated guy, Karua. Can we play the video for Karua? You have the video for Karua? Yeah. So let's play that video.
Did you guys turn off comments?
No?
No, the comments are running.
They're there. They're there. Many.
Why am I not seeing?
They're in their hundreds.
I don't think you've logged. I didn't log in.
Enough candidates.
And you said you will not be anyone's running mate.
No, I'll not be a running mate. But should somebody else, I'll do my best to be that united opposition candidate. But should somebody else be chosen, I am willing to support them without being their running mate.
Okay.
That is a proud woman.
We are done? Okay, great. So you have Martha Karua, who is saying, no, I am on my own woman. We have Maraga, who is on the other side. We have Sifuna that potentially you can roll him a red carpet, but he might not walk on it. Okay. And then you have Jimmy Wanjigi, who is, by the way, against the idea of 2-term, 1-term. We need to figure out what we are going to do for Kenyans. How then do you guys have a united opposition if these guys have got their tails up and running away from you guys?
Let me take that, because I think it's one of the major problems I have.
Okay.
And in most instances, it is with the supporters of these people, and a clear example is with the supporters of Sifuna.
Okay.
But in this case, since you've added Martha Karua to the list, I think now that presents the same problem I have with the supporters of Sifuna.
Okay.
It's something I like to call moral purism.
Okay.
Where it is your way or the highway. Unfortunately, that makes you lose focus on what you want to achieve. I've told you that in the current dispensation that we exist in, the support that you're seeing split across different United Alternative Government leaders is amounting to more support than William Ruto has, as per the polls, right? So if they pull their numbers together, that particular addition is what I told you, that the end is known today, that we must have one presidential candidate. My problem with this moral purism is this approach that it is either us or no one else.
Okay.
Because that runs the risk of making William Ruto get another term. And I don't know why the people who sit on that moral high horse think themselves better than those who are saying, we will make the necessary sacrifices. We will give up our own ambitions to make sure that that goal is achieved. And when I say that, people like to really insult me and tell me I am anti-Linda Mwananchi, I am covertly in 2-term, but unfortunately not. It is because even from the political camp I come from, we are told that we need to popularize our party as much as possible. But we need to understand that the goal is to remove William Ruto however we get there. So I have a problem with that approach that Martha Karua has taken, that she can support by not being a running mate, because that limits the option or the conversation that can be had within the United Alternative Government. Also, when it comes to the issue of Linda Mwananchi, the supporters are so hell-bent that it must be Sifuna. But you can see their candidate is very reluctant about it, because he understands the reality I am talking about. And he has said it before. When he went to, I think, a local radio station in Mount Kenya, he said that it would be a sad day if we woke up and William Ruto got 200,000 votes over us, because Sifuna decided to go all the way because of his own personal ambition. And I hold that point to the end.
Okay. The Wanjigi is coming from Mount Kenya. Gachagua decides to support Edwin Sifuna or David Maraga, Wanjigi doesn't get anything from Mount Kenya. 500,000, a million?
See,
I am going to vote for him.
Yeah, but you asked for Mount Kenya. You're
Yes.
not from Mount Kenya.
Yeah,
And at the very least, Jimmy Wanjigi does not carry himself like a person from Mount Kenya.
What do you mean? You want him
the
to
only thing he does is have
What
a
do you
name.
mean by that?
You see,
underline it for me.
Candidates have profiles. You
Okay.
understand? For example, the one thing that people were advising Sifuna a lot, do not go the Western way.
Okay.
They wanted him to keep a national profile. But Sifuna understands realities don't work like that. So he must talk to the base you're saying he does not have.
Okay.
All right? Jimmy Wanjigi carries the same profile. Very good on national conversations, but doesn't have a base. And that base is what lacks. Like I said, he has the name from Mount Kenya, but doesn't have the base from Mount Kenya. Which is why I've had you sometimes a lot whip my party leader on this show.
You Mr. Gachagua?
Yes.
Okay.
On
Have
this
I?
show.
I likely ask questions.
You ask questions, but you throw in covert punches there. Gachagua is a hard man to love. And I keep on saying...
When you look for things, you'll get them.
It's just that I am very keen on detail.
Okay.
However, I am saying Jimmy Wanjigi is likely not to appeal to the Mount Kenya electorate because of the profile he has built for himself. It is not, he does not really confine himself with issues of the mountain. So a person in somewhere in Togoto does not understand Jimmy Wanjigi and his odious death story. It is impossible for him. But he will understand maziwa, kahawa, chai.
But he's from the guy from Togoto goes into that little box, and the only brother they're seeing is Wanjigi. They're just gonna vote for Matiang'i. Who is Matiang'i, by the way?
Wanjigi, sorry to chime in. Wanjigi is suffering from one, communication ignorance.
Okay.
I would say he's very ignorant in communications. Very. I don't know whether he's handling his communication. He's doing a poor job. The person who works with him day to day, he's doing a poor job because at the end of the day, politics is local. People want politics of identity. Identity.
I want to see myself in you before I can vote for you.
I told about Socrates and how Socrates defines politics. That people then donate their infallibilities or they project their infallibilities and ambitions in a person. Scapegoatism, remember that thing?
Yeah.
Sawa ni mimi nifanye makosa lakini tuwe kwa mbuzi alafu tufukuze huyo mbuzi aende huko kwa nini aende kwa wilderness. So mbuzi ameenda na sins zetu. We can start afresh.
True.
Okay? So Wanjigi suffers heavily. One, on the question of communication. Two, Wanjigi is a super elitist. Super elite, super like top. The normal Kikuyu who wears like me. Today I'm dressed like a Kikuyu. Yeah, a super Kikuyu who wears like me. Yeah, does not understand what Wanjigi is saying because if Wanjigi smiles, his teeth does not look normal. They look like they've been chiseled in Belgium. I really like them, by the way. They look like been chiseled in Belgium. Then he arrives in...
I've seen them up close and candid.
Right? They're beautiful. People, okay, this guy looks like something. And then he arrives in a Mercedes that is custom number plate.
JW.
And then he smells so nice. This is not our... Well, it is our son, but it's the one who is very much at the top. Yetu mweke hapo. We need somebody mwenye anavaa kama hii. Anavaa koti kubwa.
The truthful man.
Huyu anajua shida zetu. Huyu anakaa anatuelewa kona ile uchungu yetu. Wanjigi doesn't seem to understand the local politics of Mount Kenya. But also I think Wanjigi is better placed as a businessman with an understanding of finance. He serves this country at a very important level. And that's why I've always thought that perhaps towards 2027, Wanjigi would be better placed to help the gentleman currently occupying State House to solve this debt question because he has some very good ideas. And those good ideas should not be with the opposition. They should come this side. The opposition is pursuing something, which of course is getting root out of power. And for us, we're saying, oh, you know, stability is good. And if we have this guy for another 5 years, whatever has happened that is wrong, we can correct it. We are not all perfect in our houses, right? We can tunaiza honor. Hata Gachagua, akona very good ideas.
We need to take calls from the people of the internet. You can put for us the phone number so that we they can ask Mbuthia the questions. I mean, they have been asking me all along on this podcast. You know, people of the internet, if you can call us through the normal line, that would be great because it is usually very clear. What's up, kidogo kidogo? Kama government ya Odhiambo. All right. So, Mbuthia, Jubilee is going to be having a presidential candidate kwa sababu tunaenda conclave. Nyinyi mnapeleka nani conclave?
Sisi tulishajisema mapema. We already let the cat out of the bag.
Okay.
And that is Dr. Fred Matiang'i. And even as we are looking at our nation, I think the Bible is very clear. It says that there is a time for everything, a time to reap, a time to sow under the sun. And I think that when we are in constant war mode, I think we've been in constant battles since 2024, 2025, 2026, we are still on the streets. 2027, now we have to come to a point where we say enough is enough. It is time as a generation we decide to build the nation. I think it's very important that we remind ourselves of why we went to school. We need to be building industries. We need to expand the private sector. Not all big jobs should be deemed to be in government. Okay. It shouldn't be a nation where we say that for you to become rich, you need to get elected. And you see someone living a very lucrative job and getting into running for office. In advanced countries, in countries that we look up to, leaving your private sector job, going into government, you take a very huge and a very serious pay cut.
Okay. There is a call on the line. Hello?
Hello, good evening, Jagero.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you from Bali sana.
You can hear me?
Not connected. There we go.
What about now?
Yeah, just a minute. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, how are you? What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Brian. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Okay.
I have a question for Angel.
For Angel, okay.
Angel, do you know your boss Uhuru Kenyatta wants William Ruto to win in 2027?
Oh, okay. All right, that is a good question. Thank you very much. That's
is that Brian?
People of the internet.
People of the internet.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Jagero, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling us from? Please tell us your name because
First of all, yesterday I was vastly mentioned and then I was denied a right of a reply. Is that really fair? 2/3 of yesterday podcast was mentioning me and then you denied me a reply.
Okay, why don't you deal with the issues of today first?
So, what I wanted to say is that, for me, I would like to say that, Jagero, first of all, yesterday, your problem started when you said that Sifuna came with the issue of preamble of the Constitution.
Okay.
You know, preamble of the Constitution in a state where the first line of defense is Gunism, not police state.
Okay.
Then we should go back to the preamble of the Constitution. In a country where the state house has uses a majority of its budget. They consume 90% in December. We have to go back to the preamble of the Constitution. You know, Mbuthia, I think the worst president we had is Uhuru Kenyatta.
The worst president?
But Ruto make an adakadabra, and all of a sudden, Uhuru become a saint.
Okay.
I think you get my point. So for me, I want to say that Mbuthia, she talked about the budget of the security, and she said that it has reached, I don't know, to 50%. But it started with Uhuru.
Okay.
Uhuru, we should remember that there was the issue of body bags taken to Kisumu, to Kisumu, to Nyanza region. We should remember that Uhuru is the cause of all this burden. You know, she's talking about the issue of I don't know. She's talking about the issue of I don't know, the state of the country now. But it started with the odious debt that Jim Wanjigi is trying to address, and that's why for me I feel like Jim Wanjigi is asking the right question.
All right.
And he's leaving to us, the citizen, to answer it.
Okay.
Behold, to us, the person who will become the president, Angel Mbuthia, we'll be now dealing with the issue of should I go with the people or should I go with the government? Because if they will not answer the issue of odious debt, we will have the same problem we are having now.
All right, thank you.
So for me, I feel like, yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Let's take this one. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Where are you calling us from? What's your name?
I'm calling from Nairobi. I'm Joseph.
You're calling from?
Nairobi.
Okay.
I'm Joseph. Huh?
All right.
Okay, I think the united opposition, I don't think if they have something proper tangible, because somebody like Sifuna will tell you preamble. You don't develop a country using preamble of constitution.
Okay.
That's very basic. That being simplistic. We have very complicated, complex things that, and I've told you last time that you don't need constitution to sort out certain things. So the problem we have is that we are litigious, a country where we think every problem is a legal issue. If every problem we want to use legal means to achieve the end, we can't do that. We need leaders who are effective other than being right. Because when you're effective, you look at the end result, the outcome of your action, and you focus on the good of the public.
All right, thank you very much.
So, can I proceed under 1 minute?
All right.
So I think Linda Wananchi, by the way, I have a problem with it. Why don't you invite the Babu, the Sifuna, to come and we ask them these questions direct?
They have declined our invitation, unfortunately.
Then then there is something they are hiding, because we need to ask. We cannot go to rallies. Some of us would not get that time to go to rallies. So we need to ask them one-on-one.
Okay.
Because somebody like Sifuna, who we are pushing to run for presidency, there are certain questions that we on political headache live, so that he's able to respond to voters. So let them not say that because of political headache podcast is for pro-government. This issue of branding people pro-government and is hogwash.
Thank you very much.
I don't even believe in this one. They want to talk. Those are nonsense. You cannot discuss something like that.
All right. Yes. You've got a question, both there. A couple of them. I see you've written them there, even as we answer these other guys. Yeah.
I think that saying that Uhuru was the worst president ever is seriously government propaganda. Okay. And I think that when someone goes
by that,
when someone goes ahead to talk about the that these things to do with the national budget started with Uhuru Kenyatta. These are some of the things that we are saying we need to change. Because if you ask a health minister or a minister for interior, what happened to SHA? What happened to security within the country? You say, why didn't you ask Uhuru Kenyatta these questions? My goodness, we are going to be marking 4 years since William Ruto was elected in August. And we're still talking about Uhuru Kenyatta. Why are we hungover about Uhuru Kenyatta? And my concern was on the budget of national security. On an election year, 2021, 2022, the national security budget was only 294 billion shillings. Today, 2026, 2027, the national security budget is 567 billion. What has changed in 3 years? That is my question on that aspect of national security. So when we're talking about Uhuru Kenyatta, let us also remember very well that William Ruto was the deputy president. And in many instances, he looked and postured like he was the opposition within government. And if there is a leader that inspired me the most is Uhuru Kenyatta, especially when he put behind all his issues with Raila Odinga, they shook hands and they decided they're going to build a better Kenya. There is no more humility I have seen in that. That is the
didn't
same
want to do
humility
this.
that has. No, guys, let me finish. I am answering my question.
Yes.
When we look at the legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, it is about, when I hear someone say Uhuru was the worst president ever, that is government propaganda. That is someone paid by government, and I hope they are paid very heavily for it. Because when you say that, you're trying to bring, when we were burying Raila Amolo Odinga, the person who was cheered and celebrated, and we know the most was a genuine friend to Raila Amolo Odinga, was Uhuru Kenyatta. Let us not forget that. Uhuru Kenyatta ensured that his friendship with Raila Odinga transcended and went beyond politics. So let us not cower and go behind the geese of what government is trying to do by giving us a boogeyman. The boogeyman is William Ruto. And the youth of Kenya have decided as much.
Just a minute.
Yes.
I know there are calls coming in.
Yeah, there is.
I want to give counsel to Angel.
Can we welcome them and then hello? Hello? Go ahead.
All right. I would like to talk to my sister, Angel, looking at you. I'm a political strategist. I've been around for quite some time. You have a very good brand. Don't soil it by associating with things which are known to be wrong, that I can tell you. 2, when you are doing politics, there's no harm in accepting where mistakes have happened.
But Odhiambo, let me just inject a little bit.
Let me just finish. The reason as to why I'm saying this is because I've been on this podcast for so long. I've gone on so many stations where the President Ruto has done wrong. I've called him out on it. And that's why perhaps, even if I support him...
You're not paid to do it.
I'm not paid to do it, of course.
That is him saying we can never
if I support him, Angel,
all those suits.
I maintain my credibility. I would love just to urge you that we all know that it is under Uhuru's regime. It may not be him. It may not be his making, but it's under his regime that this country ballooned our debt question. That debt problem is what we are suffering from, Angel, today. Today, you cannot walk to a local bank here and ask for 10 million and you're given. It is difficult. It is because of Uhuru Kenyatta. Everything else, government taking convenient excuses and saying it is because of Uhuru. I agree with you. Some things you just need to face them head on. And I believe it's because the guy who is the government spokesperson should go home and take over that office tomorrow because he does not know what he's doing, clearly. There's a way you communicate. But Angel, the truth is people know. Let's not insult Kenyans. People know that Uhuru did us really bad. If Ruto tried, in fact, Ruto tried to oppose Uhuru. He was threatened with impeachment. What did Ruto do? He went to Karen with 149 MPs and told Uhuru, bring it on. Bring it on. You have numbers in parliament. Bring it on. These ones are not cows. Okay.
You know, just a rejoinder.
Yes.
When I talk about Uhuru Kenyatta's handshake with Raila Odinga, they were saying that he has done this, I have done this, we have fought, we have gone into demonstrations, people have died, but we are saying that we need to build a better nation and we move forward.
And Raila
so
did that
why are we taking ourselves back? And if William Ruto really is genuine about the country, why is he sinking the country much further than building the country better?
How is he sinking?
By such budget allocations, by killing young people himself, by insult. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
You know, there's something called culpability. Okay? And I believe, my brother, you understand this better than all of us on this table.
Yes.
Criminal culpability versus responsibility. Okay? If you look at the questions of killings, of course they're undeniable. There are evils that have happened in this country. Have they stopped? Yes. In the last 1-2 years, I think we haven't seen, except for the Albert Ojwang case, which is regrettable, of course. There are elements within the government which are overzealous and misbehave, just like there are elements within the opposition who are overzealous. They will see a rally happening somewhere where Jagero is fighting for the government, but they go and beat him. There's a lady who was banned because she's a supporter of President Ruto, although the narrative could be questionable, as we talked about it Jagero yesterday. But these overzealous elements are there. Now, let's look at things objectively and say, okay, it is true. Somewhere there's a mess. If we talk about the budgeting question, for example, we're using 2.8 trillion to pay debt, okay? For Ruto to sustain any development, he needs to take more debt. First, he needs to take debt to pay debt. Because if we fail to pay debt, our currency is going to be affected. 50% or 30% on the minimum, useless. That's the cost of inflation we have to take. So
Okay.
if we are talking about these things, let's also be just objective about it and not just throw.
I wanted to ask Mr. Jeff about Uhuru Kenyatta, but I think there is a caller that has been on hold for a long time. Probably go to them. Hello? Hello?
Kwema.
Hello?
Kwema.
Kwema. Say kwema.
Kwema.
Salamu.
What language is this? Hello, where are you calling us from, sir?
Kutoka Arusha Kijenge.
Eh?
Napiga kutoka mkoa wa Tanzania. Nataka kuuliza Angel Mbudia.
Okay.
Nataka kumuuliza swali kwamba ana mpango gani kuhusu kaunti ya Kiambu. Nisikia kwamba anataka kuwania woman rep Kiambu County 27. Na mimi na wazazi huko.
Okay, did you get the question?
I think it's about Kiambu.
Yeah, what do you do as women rep? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's you will talk about that, but it is very loud. I can't hear anything. Before we get another caller, Mister, do you think that what you love Uhuru Kenyatta that much?
Who?
Uhuru Kenyatta. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you like him? It was the best thing after sliced bread.
Uhuru Kenyatta was the fourth president of this country.
Okay.
I have nothing much to say about Uhuru Kenyatta.
Okay.
Because he served his term. His government has had its problems, of course.
What do you know the problems of Uhuru's government?
There was a lot of state overreach as well.
Okay.
That was there. These are things that happened. There was also major development. One of the mega projects that Uhuru did, granted that they are not also perfect, they existed. So it's neither here or there for me with the Jubilee government.
How about the debt?
The
debt.
Still, I've said there were imperfections in the Uhuru government.
Okay.
I think the more relevant question is a question you asked earlier of Jubilee getting smaller in the
yeah, you love that one.
Yeah, like
No, it's not because I love that one. It's because when we focus on the personality of Uhuru Kenyatta, yet Uhuru Kenyatta is not going to be on the ballot in 2027.
Okay.
So I don't see the relevance of that. However, when it comes to Jubilee becoming smaller, especially in the face of DCP, as you asked, or Kalao,
okay,
you asked something, a different place. It's because Jubilee is facing a natural aging process.
Okay.
You cannot reverse aging. Jubilee has had 2 terms as government. It served out its maxima as a political party, especially with the shelf life of political parties here in Kenya.
Yeah.
And the result of what happened within the Jubilee government, those imperfections, those achievements that I just mentioned, is that now it is them trying to resuscitate what you would basically call a dead horse. And I'm not doing this to take shots at Angel. It's because when you look at, for example, Lokalawa as an example. I like to work with facts and figures.
Right.
Before the DCP nominations, I went to Olkalau myself. In all the 5 wards, at least 3 centers in each ward. And I knew who was going to win by the people. And there they were saying that here we are only going to find ourselves in a contest of DCP and UDA.
Okay.
The reason why you asked earlier why wouldn't the opposition just settle on a candidate is because Jubilee has become adamant on that, because they argue that that was their seat initially. However, the people there are telling us that Jubilee is not a factor in this situation, because even the late Kiaraho was a man who was doing his 3rd term. So there was more about the man than the party. With the late Kiaraho. So now when it comes to the transition of what that becomes when Kiaraho dies, is what we are seeing right now. That DCP has penetrated into the hearts of people of Olkalau that they don't want to hear any other option. The person who is going to take home the candidate of the government is the DCP candidate, Sami Kamau Waweru.
So in your estimation, come over to DCP, you orphans.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no need to tire. You see, Angel has walked this road before.
Okay.
Na kujaribu kupanda mlima, sa mlima inateleza. So she might find herself in a situation where she is telezering for the 2nd time, and she will have nobody to blame, because kosa si kosa ni kurudia kosa.
Yeah.
Najagero, I think that what my party leader intends in doing with Jubilee Party is showing Kenyans that it's very important that we have a legacy of political parties. Countries that have succeeded in their democratic advancement have ensured that they have parties that they had since independence. And that way it is easier for you to take into account what a party did and what a regime did and how they can do better.
Okay.
There is no doubt that about Jubilee Party. If it came into power, Shah is out, NHIF is back, Linda Mama is back. Those are things that Jubilee saw, did, and they worked. So there is no need to reinvent the wheel. And even when we're talking about political parties, we say same monkey, different forests. That narrative needs to end. If we need to grow our nation, we need to have people that we can take into account. It's a very important conversation when we talk about Jubilee did this, Jubilee did that. It succeeded here. So if Jubilee were to come back to power, there is nothing that it will try to do from the blues, like what William Ruto is doing with Shah, trying to exercise new initiatives with healthcare, and healthcare is a very sensitive docket. So healthcare needs to become a docket where that is boring and, as Jeff said, boring and predictable.
Okay.
So even when I look at the party like UDA party, I don't think it can be elected anywhere, especially across the country. It's going to have a very difficult time. And I think if there is one strategy that is going to be implemented by Mr. Ruto, is to ditch UDA, form another party, and say the party that was killing people is that one. I'm no longer in that party.
Okay.
I am now in this new party. And he's eyeing the ODM party, a party that has no blemish, a party that has never ruled and been in power, so has nothing in nothing in its hands.
Can we get to the
ODM.
caller?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, Jagero.
Yes, how are you? I'm so sorry for putting you on hold for such a long time. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
I was listening. Benjamin from Eldoret.
Okay.
So I'm very happy with the debate today.
Okay.
First of all, I want to tell Odhiambo something.
Okay.
That the budget Parliament has little to do with the budget. Budgets generally originate from the executive. Parliament might only vary it, I think, by at most 5%, and they'll already have had billing set. So that budget you see is the president's budget. It is not. Let's not beat about the bush. And already, as we all know, our parliament has been captured.
Let me just ask you right there, because it's a conversation, right?
Yes.
So the budget is derived from the executive. The executive gives its estimates, Indio.
Yes.
How does it arrive on the floor of parliament?
It's brought by the majority leader. Remember.
How does it arrive? In which format? Is it a bill? Is it an amendment of a financial, or what is it?
No, the budget itself is not an amendment. The budget is
it's a bill, right? It's a bill.
No, the budget is not a bill. It's the Finance Act. The finance bill is
Yes.
not as a bill. The budget is a budget statement.
Of course. So the budget statement, for it to pass, there must be a vote on it, right?
Yes.
Who makes a vote on the budget, or who makes a vote on these
It
estimates?
is Parliament. It
So-
is Parliament.
So the person who has the vote has the final power. Is that so?
Technically, yes. On the
Tec-
surface.
technically,
Let me
yes.
just explain.
Practically-
Let me explain. And Wakili is there. He might explain to you. I think it's either the PFM Act or somewhere. I'm not sure. Where the variations you can make are only up to 5% of the estimate.
But Parliament has to accept or reject a budget, right? Before the president assents to it.
Yes.
So there must be a bill that has the budget as part of
The
it.
president does not assent to the budget. He
Okay,
assents to
what
the
does the president
to
assent
the
to that
finance-
then transitions into law as a finance
to the
act?
finance bill.
The
Finance
Wakili
bill
is there,
that
can
becomes
tell
a
us.
finance act.
Okay.
The budget is just a statement.
Okay, how does the question I'm asking you, Wakil, maybe you can help us here. Maybe we are both daft and arguing on the same thing, or going around the same point. What happens? There's a budget that is given by the Treasury, right? Emanating from estimates from all the departments. Then it arrives at the floor of Parliament as part of a bill.
Yeah.
Now, that bill, parliamentarians look at it. They can either decide to go and debate on it, make amendments, or they can decide to vote it in or even block it.
Reject it, yeah.
That's why
No,
there's that.
Odhiambo.
Yeah.
Odhiambo, wait.
I think
the lawyer is here.
The argument here between these two people is not a question of the procedure.
Yeah.
It's a question of what he is saying is that the budget is already presidentially influenced. What you are saying is that the parliament ultimately has the power to stop or not stop.
Yes.
Which presents the contradiction in the sense that what happens when you have a weak parliament? They will not do their job.
And that's what I was saying, that in this country, we have to kill something called a presidential system and then go for a parliamentary system. Because we're suffering from the question of dual legitimacy, where all these people are powerful. All right? Yeah.
Okay. That is.
Just the last point, I want to finish.
Okay.
I want to finish so that I
Please
let another
finish.
caller say something. So, and then the second thing, and which is something I like Odhiambo said, isn't it? Odhiambo talked. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Odhiambo mentioned something about the presidential declarations, the ones he does, and they can pick money from the military or somewhere and do them.
Yeah.
But you see, that one now is where we as Kenyans are to blame. Because you see, if the president doesn't do that, then him even going to visit a place won't be exciting. People will ask, what did the president come and say? So that is a weakness in us as voters. And that is why now, shows like this actually, when they bring that out, then they make people realize when the president comes to area, he does not need to bring anything. However, your member of parliament or your whoever represents you should be able to put together a good budget, defend a road, defend water, defend healthcare. The healthcare that Wakili is saying does not work. Wakili, let me tell you, I work in the health sector. The healthcare actually is working. And on that one, I'll give it right to the president. The healthcare is working. Now, the person that thinks the healthcare is not working is the person who thinks they can afford and therefore go somewhere else. But when you go to actually your dispensary or your health center now, it has more drugs than it had 3 years ago.
What do you do at the health center? May I just inquire?
Yes.
What do you work as? What role do you play at the health facility?
Actually, I run many health facilities. I run them in a whole county. And I can tell you, I know when I tell you to work.
Oh, okay.
And then if you look at it from this point of view,
I'll have a rebuttal for that.
Yes, you will. I want to explain to you where I'll say it's working so that I get off.
Right.
See, he's very clear where I stay.
Yes.
Where I stay. And what was the major critique I said?
It's a whole county. I've said
it doesn't
it's a
matter.
whole county.
You said where you stay. It's a county, a constituency.
Yes.
But my main critique was there is no predictability, reliability in the healthcare system.
But he's the expert.
Because I also have an expert in my relative who is a registered nurse.
Who is seeing things differently.
No. Who is telling me.
I'm actually in charge. I'm in charge of healthcare workers in a whole county.
Yes, they are registered nurses. They are teachers.
We have to go to another call.
Jagiru, just wait. This is important. Why are you rushing over? Because
but you see, you and your
no,
guest are talking.
No, he's talking. Give him time.
But there are others also who are talking.
Of course, Jagiru. Let's evaluate this one properly. He's saying a point that
speaking for the government.
No, he's speaking not for the government.
Not speaking for the government.
No,
I never speak.
He's not even revealing his identity.
So let me ask to the caller this question.
Yes.
Because one of the recent complaints was that SHA systems were down for almost 4 days. I want you to respond to that. I also want you to respond to the fact that teachers talked about their consultation fees being capped at 1,200 for visits to level 3 hospitals. Please tell us if that is true or not true.
Number one, the SHA system being down, it has some downtime. That one I won't deny.
Okay.
That I won't deny. The system having some downtime, I won't deny. But not 4 days. It will have downtime at most of an hour or 2 hours.
No, but the last
Number
3
two,
days, SHA was
the teacher's scheme is actually a graded scheme. So if you're a teacher, you'll find what you can access is different from what your principal can access, which is different from what the deputy can access. And that even happens in all other cadres.
But that doesn't speak to the
higher you go,
effectiveness of
the higher you go in the
health
job group, so what happened is the teachers had not been informed of where you need to go to get your treatment. And once that happened, I think that was it. It was already sorted. So I'm not defending. I'm just saying that is working way better than NHIS. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Can we allow this gentleman to yes, just a minute. Can we put you on hold for just 1 minute as You can reduce and then can answer.
Even private hospitals have downtime.
And we're not. I'm not disputing. We're not talking about system collapse for short periods of time, right? I'm talking about a situation where somebody walks into a hospital for the last 3 days and is told we cannot accept SHA because the SHA systems are not working. Right? When you ask the government people, they tell you that when you go to a hospital and they tell you that, report to the nearest police station, which is not an effective response to.
Why are they going to a police station?
Apparently because that hospital is committing a crime, according to the government people. I also wanted,
they are telling you that if the
system is not working and they cannot accept SHA, go report to a police station, which is something has been said. It has been said by Moses Kuria over time.
That is one mad person that if you listen to, I don't know if.
But he's speaking for the government.
But he's one of the biggest. I agree.
Skunk.
But he's one of the people who promote the health system.
The government skunk.
He's the government skunk.
He's the one who is. He's the one who.
So what are you saying then?
My problem with what he's saying is that graded system he's talking about, it's true. There is 1,200 for level 3, 2,500 upscale for level 4 and all that. But it still does not address the ineffectiveness of the health system that I pointed out. That he can swear that SHA is working. Another medical expert can tell me that the level 3 is not SHA is not working. And my main critique of healthcare was it should be boring. It should be reliable, effective, and predictable. The predictability of the healthcare system, according to what he said, just proved my point earlier.
There are problems with SHA, guaranteed. Okay? Experts will have different opinions. You're an advocate. Do we have advocates giving us contradicting opinions throughout? As much as the law is clear.
You take different perspectives all the time.
So different health experts can give us different opinions.
Absolutely.
Then we have the end user saying, okay, it works for me or not, right? So maybe we should listen to a commoner, the problem in Kenya, to understand if
what
it
the
works
position
for them.
is.
Yeah. I think that is the
But the complaint and the constant complaint that SHA is always down. The system is always down. And we are also being told that we secured a system for 104 billion. I mean, there is
absolutely ludicrous to think about it.
And you see, Safaricom always works.
I always don't want to say this, Jagero.
But your SHA does not work all the time.
It actually does work. There are challenges, admittedly. You know, being an outright denier of facts is being silly intellectually. There are problems, Jagero. I challenge you. You're a man who goes to hospital many times, of course. Forgive me for saying that, right? But when you go to one of those hospitals, walk to the renal unit. Renal unit is where we have
kidney issues.
People with kidney failure. And ask today, Jagero, those who are on SHA and who are receiving kidney, how do you call it? Dialysis.
Dialysis.
Are you aware that SHA covers for dialysis?
Yes, it does.
Twice a week. More than NHIF used to cover. In fact, SHA is more effective for chronic illnesses, by the way, which is the heaviest burden of Medicare in any household as compared to infectious diseases. And this I speak as the CEO
I think that is not in contention. And the problem with you is deflecting.
No, it's not deflecting. It's just that when I go particular, it feels a little bit painful because you lose.
Okay, can we get to the last caller? Can we get to the last caller? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. What's your question, sir? What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Rogers.
Okay.
I'm calling you from the western part of Kenya, that is Busia.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of the show.
Okay.
I follow you guys. The issue I have, I think the problem with Kenya is exactly the panelists that you're having on the show.
Okay.
Like ni kuna ukora mingi Kenya.
Okay.
Na I think watu hawaambiani ukweli. And that is part of the problem of this country.
All right.
Like our problem started with when we put the two guys in power, Tom and Jerry, that is the president and his deputy. Hapo ndio penye shida ilianza. Then ukiangalia hawa watu wote all along, Gachagua is a making of Ruto. These other guys need the same government, need the same people.
Okay.
Like for all these people to sit here and ni kama wanachukua ni kama sisi ni watoto ama nini. Because ideally, the way I'm feeling like all of a sudden, Uhuru is a saint, all of a sudden Ruto is a saint, all of a sudden Gachagua is a saint. Tuambiane ukweli.
All right, thank
you. The reality ni that is not the case. So I just feel like we are just running in a constant circle of defeat throughout. To the moment tunaanza kuambiana ukweli, then everything will work out. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. People of the internet, Muthia, I hope this was a very good show. I hope you loved it. In finishing, what do you want to do for the people of Kiambu in finishing?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I think you need to invite me more often.
I will invite you
so that we get abreast with your committed viewers.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about where our conscience is as a country, as a nation, as a generation that is really driving towards change. And having been an alumni of the University of Nairobi, studying political science, holding a master's in public policy, I am a CPAK. I have worked in student leadership at the University of Nairobi. I have fought for the rights of students. And I believe that it is time now that I take all these talents to represent my people from Kiambu County. And I believe that it's a county that is really disenfranchised, yes, yet very, very extremely resourceful. You cannot explain to someone from Turkana that there is someone from Kiambu who lacks tapped water. And these are some of the things that are very, they're very shocking. But I want to take that representation for my people, to speak out for them. At the moment when injustices are happening to the people of Kiambu County, we don't have leaders who can say no when it is popular or say no when it is even unpopular. So I bring that to the table, and I would want to take that to Parliament, given that blessing by the people of Kiambu County, people I love. It's a community that has raised me, has educated me. Were it not for that education that I got as a young, as a student, as a young girl coming from Wangige, I want to represent my people in the next Parliament. I am faithful to my cause. I have a record that speaks for itself. I have worked internationally. I have worked locally. I have advised governments on various advancements in terms of government policy, how to meaningfully engage young people. I want to take those talents to Parliament representing my county of Kiambu.
Thank you very much.
And asante sana kwa
yes,
kunita.
Mr. Jeff, your last words?
My last words is, I think this was a very fruitful show. And as Angel said, we should engage more. We should engage more. And especially because I still have some qualms with the show, because you really whip the DCP when I watch, and I would like that.
But today you were helping me whip.
I mean, everybody advances their own interest. But thank you so much. I would like to thank your viewers for also being patient. It's quite late as well, but to keep up that audience viewership is amazing. Right. We'll definitely engage more on. United Opposition Politics.
Thank you very much. Odhiambo, I'll pass you for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
People of the internet, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us today. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. Hit on that notification bell and follow us online. Till another episode, bye for now.
Why are they calling me Soipan's sister?
Oh, Soipan. About my new book. Everybody says that there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world, and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called Goldmine 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, In my book, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things, build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is oduorjigero.co.ke.